just the way.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chef at Geek Driven, and we're here for another episode of Movie and Shows, and we're going to review Book of Bobba Fett, Chapter 6. This is the From the Desert, A Stranger Comes, or something like that, right?
Just a Dave Filoni episode.
So I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about this episode. So excited that we have a very special guest with us as well. But before we get to our special guest, let's introduce the herd. Let's talk down to Anthony.
What's up, Jeff?
What's going
Hey, JR.
on?
Hey, TM. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, man.
And I hope everyone's doing great out there. I hope everyone was able to watch the episode. If not, there will be tons of spoilers here. Okay.
Yeah, run now and come back later.
Yeah.
Don't be a Steve.
Like much later.
Don't be a Steve.
You know, just because you see, someone with the initials JR. Oh, I'm sorry. There is JR. Hey, JR. How you doing?
Hey, I was good. I didn't spoil shit for anybody.
That's all right. Neither did I. Unlike Steve.
Somebody with a really long fucking name that wraps around like the universe and shit.
What's going on then, JR? Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Rogue's Law, your resident asshole, Star Wars nerd, and excited about this episode. Pass on over to should I set it down south, I guess, even though he's up north. What's up, Station? How you doing, sir? Mr. Nerdy.
Station. Thanks for having me, guys. I am super excited to talk to you guys about this episode. This is probably by far, I'd have to say, like, between The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, this is, like, by far my favorite episode between the two of them.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I actually have to say this is probably one of the best Star Wars episodes I've seen. So I'm definitely excited to talk about it. I'm excited to get into it. Remember, if you guys want to go check out our review on Chapter 5 and on the Rewind. And so let's just get into it. Let's get into what's going on here in Episode 6. So we start in the desert. We get this like old Western vibe where you get like the windmill kind of, panning from the windmill, and you're hearing the creaking, but it's like those generators in the desert, right? So and then you see a speeder and a bunch of Pike Syndicate standing around it, and it's like a drug deal going down, right? One has a Camtono full of credits, and the other one has a chest full of spice. So they're talking, and all of a sudden you see someone come from the side, and it's Cobb Vanth, and he's telling them, what are you guys doing here? Do you guys know where you are? That you guys should probably get out of here, because from around here I'm the one in charge, so I tell people what to do. And they're looking at each other, and they decide that they want to shoot at him. Bad choice, because 3 of the 4 die immediately, and he's telling the 4th one, you want to think about that? And he puts his hand up, and he basically says, I have a proposal for your bosses. Anybody who gets lost around here will be lost forever, and you take your credits back and leave the spice. And that's like the tax, that they had to pay for, intruding on their territory. And he goes off, and then, we'll get to the next scene after that. But let's just talk about this beginning. What do you guys think?
Well, first off, has anyone else thought that chest kind of reminded them of the Indiana Jones, that chest from I forget which one, with the knots? You know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
I can see that.
The
It is
first movie,
Lucas.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's
There you
Lucas
go.
Films.
Right, and he's put nods to Indy in his other stuff, so I could see them doing that as a nod to that again.
That's a good Easter egg. I
Yeah.
didn't. I thought about it, but I was like, no. But you're right.
It looked a lot of like that. I mean, obviously, a much smaller version.
Right.
I thought it was interesting that we got to see the Marshal come back.
What's up,
I didn't expect that he would be back in this episode at all. And of all the characters I thought of, I never thought of him.
I was hoping, but I like Travis said, I didn't think that was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot to do a couple of things before we move on. Let's give some shout outs. So let's give a shout out to our wrenches, our 4 horsemen. Rudy, thank you very much. Something Wong at Deanime Exetera and at Glenn 2K from across the pond. Thank you all for being our wrenches and our 4 horsemen. And don't forget, they have a quiz show that will be returning for its 2nd season. So get ready for that. And we also want to give a shout out to our DJs, DJ Abomination and Plainclothes D. Thank you guys for the music. And with that done, let's move out to the chat because I forgot. I can't forget the chat. So thank you so much, Copy. Is there you in the wrong room, Copy? Just like you never have DC books.
Well, no one cares about Star Trek anyway, so.
Hey, I do.
Bite your tongue.
GT Key Comics, thank you so much for showing up. Ugh, I am parched. Evils Comics, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you.
Here, Jeff.
Uncanny Swag. Hey, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Look at that. TM Nerdy doing double duties. Love it. Hey, someone else is doing double duties. Anthony, thank you so much. All right. And then looks like we have Lord Chucks. Thank you for dropping by. Shout out to the BLCC. Appreciate you guys. Who else do we have? Oh, we got Moonlit. Okay, now I knew she wasn't going to stay because I knew she didn't watch it yet, but thank you for stopping by.
No, she watched it.
Did she?
Read the comment, dumbass.
Yeah.
Oh, she says she did it. Oh, I forget. She's on the East Coast. So that was
she
quite
literally
a
just
while
finished
ago.
watching it.
All right. Good job. All right. I'm so excited then. All right. Who else is in here? Oh, my God.
We had Spoiler Steve here.
Big Mouth Steve.
We got Lou Lawson.
So let's do a little explaining.
Little spam there. The Vored.
I don't know.
Let's explain why Steve's in the doghouse once again. We have a thread with several of the people of the Nerd, and it's usually we know like we can't all watch at midnight like Big Rob does, and people will watch as the day goes on. Usually we have 24 hours. Don't say shit. Big Rob just goes fuck. I just go like damn. Steve goes, damn, such and such is in there.
He blurts out a name and
just like Steve.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is I'm envious of anybody that gets to watch it at 12 a.m. because like I have to wait until 4 a.m.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
No.
Yeah, I for the very first time all season, I actually fell asleep before the show, so I did get spoiled. I woke up to a spoiler, but that's all good because I guessed it right, so it didn't really matter, right? In the end, Comics and Culture, thank you so much for dropping in. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, what's up, neighbor? Dude, no, he literally lives like 3 blocks from me.
Man of the hour. What up,
Spoiler
Steve? Yo, what's going on, Alonzo? Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the slides. I had to fix it because you spoiled it at the beginning. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? I think that's everybody. If I didn't catch you, we'll catch you later. But all right. So what did you guys think of the scene?
I liked it. I liked how also they they were like, oh, that like you could retire on that amount, or like he's just like that. It's more than what your town's worth, and then he's just like, maybe I'll retire then, but just decides to kick it over. So it shows character on his part. Like he's pretty noble, and he's not willing to like sway, no matter how much people throw in front of him.
No, yeah, I can appreciate that characteristic that they showed there. It's just like, you know, when you think of a character's characteristics and they change it, you kind of get disappointed. And I just like that he's so loyal to being honorable.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, when I saw the beginning, wow, he's a great shot. He's a quick shot. He just does not look as intimidating without the Fett armor. He just doesn't.
But see, I kind of like that. I like it's not that he's intimidating. He's just got that swagger, kind of like Doc Holliday-esque, where he just kind of got like that. I don't look like I can kick your ass, but
right. But
I sure as hell can.
But when it's 1-on-4, sometimes that armor, you know, or that look, that intimidation factor can work for you. You know.
Oh no, I agree. But I'm just saying. I mean, I kind of like the fact that it's not that, because we always see the big guy come out and be like, "Oh, okay, I can kick your ass," and everyone's like, "Oh shit, let me back up." And this guy's kind of like, "Yeah, I'm a pimp, and you're just gonna fucking deal with it. Come at me." And they come at him and go boom, 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 boom.
Well, just that defense, because, you know, since that armor is made of Beskar, he's, you know, and he mentions it later on that he's a little more, you know, cautious. And rightfully so, you know, because he depended on that armor a bit, and once it left his hands, he knew that he had to be more savvy than anything else.
Oh hell yeah, we all would be that way,
right? Well, okay, so let's move on. Anybody want to talk about the next part, where I think we finally get Mando?
Yeah, Mando. The next scene, you see Mando essentially flying off to meet Grogu, which, quite honestly, I didn't think that we would see it so fast, you know?
Yeah.
And he lands on the planet, and we get our first surprise, you know, with R2-D2 showing up.
Well, doesn't he fly by the sandcrawler first?
No, that's later.
That's later.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay, let's come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I love that whenever he came in and you got to see R2-D2, and then he was sitting there waiting. At first, I thought it was going to be bait and switch, like, oh yeah,
Right.
you think you're going to get to see somebody, but you're not really going to see them. I thought that's what was going to happen at first. Because like it cut from that scene, didn't it? It goes from that scene into a next scene, like it's just a short little scene. But we get the first appearance of like kind of the Jedi school.
Yeah.
Right. That you see all these little robots with the bricks and stuff, just putting it together, you know.
The robot
androids.
Not little, but I mean big robots. Each one is carrying a stone, you know, and they're putting it in a specific order. You know, so, and they were all programmed probably by R2-D2, you know, since he had the whatchamacallit, he was communicating with one of them. You know, you see, you know, a couple minutes later. So, you know, Mando lands and he looks at R2 and says, "I'm here to see the kid." You know, and that's how he mentions him, you know, the kid.
Yeah.
And R2-D2 takes him to where the school is being built, and R2-D2 blips at one of the workers and shuts down. You know, so doesn't tell Mando much, you know, and Mando's there wondering like what's going on. Like, hey, droid, you know, he doesn't know what the droid's number or name is, so he's just calling him droid. And just asking, listen, I'm here for the kid. What's going on? Is this a bench? Because one of the robots makes a bench for him. Am I supposed to sit here and wait? And he decides to take a cue and just wait. And then we flip from there to the next scene where we get surprise number 2, along with R2D2. You have Luke Skywalker, and he's there with Grogu training.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly true. They're meditating.
Meditating on some frogs.
And in typical Grogu fashion, he can't focus.
Well, before we get to him losing focus, let's talk about like him arriving on the planet, him meeting R2, and then seeing those androids building that stone hut. I just thought that was all funny and like really cool, knowing like once you see R2, you know you're gonna see Luke, right?
Yeah.
And you know you're gonna see Grogu, and that whole like it almost felt like he was in this bizarro world because he hates droids, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like he's going, wait, why are you shutting down? Wait, does anybody know what's going on here? And all he's like, wait a minute, are you building a bench? And he's like, wait, how long am I supposed to wait here then?
He's trying to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, he's watching everything happen and he's going, oh crap, right? Like he sighs, and then it's just hilarious, and he knows that he's gonna be there a while, and he's like, is anybody here alive?
Yeah, see, this is why I thought it was going to be a whole bait and switch until they went to the next scene. Like, because this is like, okay, we're thinking we're going to get him, but now it's just going to go and we're not going to talk about it until the next episode. Right. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. But then they surprised the heck out of all of us.
Yeah.
And what was that surprise, Anthony?
That we see Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker's there, and I have to admit,
yes, let's talk about this.
Like the CGI when we first saw Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian season 2, it sucked. It really did. I mean, the face was all fuzzy and whatnot, but this time around, you could tell that they did a lot of work. I almost thought that it was a different actor. Yeah, thank you for noticing, Ninja. But they did a lot of work on the CGI. Luke looks pretty close to Luke. Okay, I mean, so much so that I went back to see if it was indeed Mark Hamill that was doing the role, and he was.
Let's talk about how that CGI. Before we move on, because we got to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
It is the best deep fake we've seen. Period. Period. I don't care what you talk about, like the Marvel movies or anything. Like, when they de-age, a bunch of people, it still doesn't look exactly right. And they had the person there, and they're just de-aging them. Right. This person puts in a totally different face, basically, because he's getting a face that he has no reference for, right? In the sense of he's got to be aged up from the last shot that they ever had for the movies.
Right.
So it's amazing. And it's not the same person who did it for The Mandalorian, right? That last episode. Really? It's the person that they hired who did a better deep fake on YouTube. And it was, that Shamrock guy. They hired him back in like July or August of last year.
That's bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's just badass that he comes in and you see his work. It's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's not in a cloak. It's not hidden, like half hidden.
Or shadow, yeah.
Or shadowed or in the dark, right? It's in broad daylight, in the open. And he's talking. That's like probably the hardest thing to do of deep faking, is getting the lips to move accordingly.
I mean, there were some shots that you could tell that it was CGI. You could see.
You can still tell. Yeah.
Well, it's not perfect.
No, it's not. But overall, it was 100% better than what
Yeah.
it was in The Mandalorian.
No, absolutely.
What's up, guy? I thought
But,
in general
yeah.
the that was cool, but I was just like, okay, and just kind of went with the scene. To me, there was more to the scene
Right.
than that.
Well, I mean, we've seen Grogu in the past. I mean, you mentioned it, JR, in the last episode, where how he snatched the cookie.
He's going evil. I'm telling you.
And, and he
No, there's evidence in this episode.
no,
I'll tell
he
you.
thinks with his stomach. Okay.
I have a rebuttal against you.
No,
buddy.
he thinks with his stomach. When he's hungry, he loses focus and he wants to eat. And in this case, as we know, one of his favorite foods is
It's
frogs.
Rocky.
he likes himself some Kermit. Okay. There's a frog hopping around, and just before the frog jumps in the pond, Grogu grabs it with the force. And Luke is there, he's still meditating, and you see Grogu slowly bringing the frog towards its mouth.
And that mouth is just moving.
Just
so
about
slowly.
to have himself some deep fried frog legs.
I just love how the eyes kind of go big though while he's
Yep.
doing it too.
And the mouth's like trembling as he's getting closer
Yeah.
and closer.
He looks like me when
Drool coming
Kix
out of
puts
his
in
mouth.
front of me.
Yeah. Until you hear Luke say, Grogu. It's like busted. Busted.
I'm telling you, that's just one of the things that shows he's. You are right. He loses concentration when he gets hungry, but he is definitely going dark. I'm telling.
I don't think so.
Well, as the episode goes on, I'll tell you. I'll point out stuff.
And I'll also
As we
point
get-
out a rebuttal to yours because we all have different views on it,
Yeah.
but they're all valid because we don't know what the
Yeah.
future holds.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, but before we go on that tangent, go ahead, Anthony.
So of course he drops down the frog, and Luke, I guess, in his own way, was a little frustrated that he only grabbed the one frog. So he goes to show Grogu that there's more than one frog around. Yeah, Darth Gru or the Darth Grogu uncanny.
Darth
So
Gru.
Luke
I like that
closes his
better.
eyes and he lifts his hand, and you see about 20 frogs come out of the grass and the water.
And he gets so excited.
Oh man.
No, but you
He looks
also
like a kid in a
notice.
candy shop.
But you also notice that he kind of like looks at his hand, and then he looks at Luke's hand, and then he looks at the frogs, and he's like
Right.
looking
And he's like,
all the way around, right? And he's just like, "Oh crap, you have that power? And I
right.
can do that."
Yeah.
And as we know, his memories are locked. That there's something blocking,
Yeah, well,
because
some
here
of them
he's
are.
50 years old, and Grogu is supposed to be pretty powerful, but he's not. And
Great anger comes great power.
So then from there, after the frog scene, Luke and Grogu take a walk, or rather Luke walks and he carries him little by
I
little
love
by the
that
force,
scene.
which I thought was great.
Call back
So
to
much. You
Dagobah.
just see the little feet just walking, and then he
Yeah.
just like lifts him up a
And
little
then-
bit, drops
Yeah.
him down. I was like, "Oh, this is great."
I mean,
Yeah,
every
that's an
parent
awesome
would
part.
love to do that with their kids.
Oh, you right? Who needs a freaking like chain to your kid anymore? You just
Exactly.
pull him back with the force.
Well, that's basically his version of like when you have two parents and they swing the kid. I mean,
Yeah, except that this one's like with
Yeah.
the force.
yeah.
Yeah, but if I had to choose as a kid to get
Oh, I'd
swung
take-
or get
yeah.
lifted by the force, I think I'd choose the force.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But no,
I think
Steve
we
was
all
right. That did like have a little tone of Lone Wolf and Cub.
And he made a noise every time he like got pushed along.
Oh yeah, he enjoyed it though.
Well, shoot, if you got short legs like him, you definitely gonna enjoy not having to do 50 steps instead of like 10.
Right.
Yeah.
But they take a walk, and Luke, asks and essentially, helps Grogu to remember what happened to him, to try and help him unlock his power, So Luke places his hand on Grogu's head, and you take a deep look into the past, essentially around the time of Order 66.
It is Order 66, and
Yeah.
is exactly the moment when
Yep.
Anakin invades the temple and starts killing younglings.
I mean, even though
First example.
you see the clones, I don't know if you see. I don't remember seeing Anakin.
You don't see Anakin,
right? But
but
you
it's
see
the
clones,
same.
though.
It's the same clone
Right.
armor design.
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Temple.
The clones behind him. Remember when he's entering the temple?
Yes.
He's going up the steps. Those are the same clones behind him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see the clones attacking, and Grogu is either in a pouch, or he's being carried. You really can't tell, but you see his face, and he's watching the Jedi die just to protect him. And the clones eventually realize that he's still around. They go after him, and then everything turns dark, and he wakes up sitting next to Luke. And what I found interesting is that Luke tells him, "Welcome back." It's almost as if Grogu's consciousness went back to that time and then came back to the present.
Well, it also seems like he was able to see what he saw.
Right.
But it might have, because of the way the Force is used, and he's such a small person, like small thing, it takes a lot out of him, right? So he's like, maybe he fell asleep for a minute.
Right, he's a little knocked out.
Yeah, he knocked out because it just took so much out of him.
Right.
And that's my thought. That's how I'll take it, because they're not going to explain everything.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of have to take a leap of faith on some of these things.
Right.
And you just have to go call back to some of the past stuff. And remember, this is like the first time we see Luke use a new power canonically.
Right.
Right?
Before this was never done. At least not by Luke.
And honestly,
Well,
I don't remember seeing that.
It's kind of a version of his Force visions. In a degree, it's going backward, because they've said in the past, they set up where it could show you things in the future, things in the past. The Force is fluid. Time is not relative with it. So he has. I mean, we saw in Empire Strikes Back where he saw that his friends were in danger and stuff of that nature.
Right.
This is the first time he's done it on someone else.
Right. He's
induced
them.
it.
Yeah.
But that I also think is the first we see the first trauma that Grogu has, which is the first step to the dark side.
So before we go to the dark side, every time you're gonna go to the dark side, I'm just gonna bring that up. I'm just gonna bring that up. Okay,
that's fine. Hey, there's plenty in this for him going to the dark side.
Look,
But
I
someone could take over for now for the next
like
scene.
It was showing us the reason why he pushed down all those memories away. This is the reason why he forgot who he was. He forgot his training. He forgot how to use the Force. This is why, because he was actually a Padawan, right? Like he was a youngling Padawan, so he was in training still as a youngling. So he at some point had learned something, and now he's forgotten everything. Remember, it's all happened in the Mando show, and
it could be that someone just went, "You were going to forget."
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
Or it could be repressed.
It could be.
I'm more inclined of like it being repressed than that, because like unless his mind was weak, he wouldn't be able to use the Jedi mind trick.
Not necessarily. Well,
it depends how strong
he hasn't built his
was,
defenses.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
They could have done that for his protection.
I mean, if Yoda did this to him, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like how did he get out of there? Because like somebody would have had to save him, or he would have done it himself. But I think somebody saved him, but we don't know who yet, because it just flashed back to that point.
And that's why I kind of think they someone took that memory away or kind of went, forget about this kind of
Not
thing.
impossible. Not impossible.
Right.
And did it more for just, you're going to be better off if you are just a kid and not a Jedi. Because obviously Jedi's are being hunted at that time. We know Vader goes on a spree and starts killing everyone during that time frame. And he wasn't trained well enough yet to really defend himself.
No. He's a young
because like everybody was getting killed. Because like
Slaughtered.
as soon as Order 66 is that like the death of all Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is, but I'm saying also Vader for years went on hunting.
Yeah, that's what the Inquisitors were for. They were hunting down all the remaining Jedis because they couldn't get all the Jedis at one time because some Jedis were off world. They weren't with clones, so there was no opportunity. Some got saved, some ran away,
Right.
and they had to go hunt them down. And yeah, definitely, it was a dark period for those Jedi.
Right.
So let's
Is
talk
the next scene
about
the remote scene.
What happened?
Go ahead.
Is the next scene the remote scene?
The remote? No, not yet.
Okay.
No, the next scene is essentially where Ahsoka and Mando are.
Oh yeah.
They talk.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna say what. Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sorry, I lost where we were. That's why.
Ahsoka and Mando. Like Mando wakes up to Ahsoka watching him.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets started. You hear a twig break, and Mando draws his gun real quick and points it right at Ahsoka. Which, okay, I'm gonna tell you, I probably screamed in the morning, probably about 5 or 6 times this morning. I probably woke up my neighbors because I woke up. I went to go watch this, and this is definitely a point where I was like, "Oh, I didn't expect her to be in this episode." Like, you hope.
Right.
And you just go, well, are they going to squeeze everything in? And you forget that Filoni's the one who wrote and directed this. And then, it's all of that stuff. And then I'm just surprised that she was there. And then she basically says, he asked, I didn't expect to see you here. What are you doing here? And
I thought you said you weren't going to train the kid.
Right.
Yeah. Well, before that, she mentions, well, I'm here because I'm a friend of the family.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he asked, what would you be doing here if you're not training Grogu? I thought you were against that. And well, so Skywalker, Master Luke's going to teach him. And he goes, well, why don't you have a problem with it? You didn't want to teach him. She goes, well, I don't have controls of other people's wants.
Right.
So, I mean, they just have this conversation, and he's basically trying to explain that he wants to see the kid. He wants to give the kid his Beskar armor, right? And she's basically trying to explain to him that it's probably not best that you go see him. And even and even R2 kind of gives that like, kind of disappointed. He's asking to see the kid,
Yeah.
And we knew this was what it was going to come to. So she, leads him to a view where they can see Luke and the kid on a hilltop, right? And they're doing their training, and she's just explaining to him, well, why do you want to see him? And he goes, well, I want to give him the Beskar. It belongs to him. It's by his right. He's a youngling.
Right.
I mean, foundling. Sorry.
Foundling, yeah.
And so she goes, well, okay, if you want, you can go ahead and
actually before that, he's like, maybe he's a Padawan now.
Right.
Oh yeah. Instead of a foundling. And he knows the difference, right? Because the armor already explained it to him. What the difference between what a Jedi needs and what a Mando is, right?
Right.
And so she basically asked him, are you doing this for Grogu or are you doing this for you? And that's when he says he wants to give her, it's his right to have the armor.
He just
And
wants to make sure that he's protected.
yeah, and he realizes that he's not gonna see him, but it would make it. And she explains it's gonna make it harder if you see him and he sees you, for him going forward. So he decides and sacrifices seeing the kid, gives her the Beskar armor to give to him, to Grogu. So where do we go from here?
So, well, there's a couple things I want to unpack here.
Okay.
Okay.
One thing is, I really want the scene of now Ahsoka and Luke, and Ahsoka's explaining that she knew Anakin. Like, because think about that. We've never had where Luke can talk to someone
About his father.
about his father that knew his father really well.
Right. And straight up.
Right.
Not cryptic like what Obi-Wan does, which, you know,
Which she may be a little bit cryptic, because I mean, to me in this she came off a little moody. I don't want to say bitchy, but she came off a little moody, like, you're a Mandalorian, stay out of Jedi business.
right.
So I don't know if she would be that same way with Luke about his father, but I think that'd be a cool episode at least to see.
Yeah, that
Of
was
her and him talking, and her just kind of going, well, this is how your father really was before he became a piece of shit.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to touch on that because you do. Yeah, I think that would be, and I think that's going to actually happen because, like, we're going to get Ahsoka, and we're going to get like, we're going to have Anakin in the Ahsoka series, so there's going to be flashbacks, and how
Is
Ahsoka.
he in Ahsoka? I thought he was in Obi-Wan.
Well, that too, but I thought he was going to be in Ahsoka as well.
I heard a rumor that was true.
Okay.
wow.
So what if because like we'll speak on this later, but she said something to Luke at the end, and so they could possibly meet back up in Ahsoka, and she could tell that story.
Yeah. That was the one thing I thought was kind of interesting. Like, I'd like to see that. And then the other thing was just her whole thing about attachment with people, because mind you, she was a youngling or a Padawan, and Anakin was her master, but that was very much even when she quit, they still had that connection, and it was still attachment on any level you can call it. And she knows that Anakin obviously did things with Padme, so it's not like she completely believes in everything that the Order says. Her character is not that way. So for her to kind of spout, "Oh, well, we shouldn't have attachment," to me, it's like,
Well,
Yeah, but she's
on
also
the kettle black there.
she also knows. She also knows from experience because, like, remember in Rebels how I think her and Anakin went at it when he was Vader, and you know, and she decided not to leave him. Okay, you know, she held on to him, you know, instead of letting him go, which would have been the Jedi way. She decided to stay with him. Okay, and in some ways that could have been a mistake.
But in the same vein, he had pretty much done the same thing when she got kicked out of the Jedi Order.
Right.
So it's kind of been reciprocated both ways. I just think it's kind of weird that she just all of a sudden goes, yeah, the Jedi Order is right. I should do this way.
I don't think that's what she was saying, and I don't think her action said that, because my thing is I see her respecting Master Luke's his sanctuary, his school, and his way of training, because she has no control over his wants, right?
Right.
So
but
she's just doing what he asks, and that's it, and that's just how she's gonna do it.
But that's you assuming that,
right?
Because this is my thing. This also is prior to later scenes. Luke obviously has attachment to Leia and Han and other people.
Right.
So to me, prior to that, he would not have an issue with a Jedi have attachment to people that are non-Jedis.
But yet he does.
Right. But I mean, you got to remember, until it comes out of his mouth, and he says it, to
Right.
me, it seems like she's putting words in his mouth.
Well, it seems like he detached himself from everybody because he's on a freaking planet by himself
True.
with droids.
You know, and we know that he eventually does train Leia later on. I mean, we don't know if
Or he
it
could
was
have
before
trained
this
her in those
or
5
after.
years,
Right.
right? He could have trained her in those 5 years
Possibly,
after.
but I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, it feels like they're taking a lot of assumptions.
Right.
And Leia was his first student.
Right.
If
Well-
that means anybody, like we get to the ending in that, and that should be very clear of what's going to happen going forth.
That's a good catch right there, Travis. I'm serious. That's a good catch.
But well, when we get to the end, I've got something
Yeah.
that maybe a rebuttal towards that.
But okay, yeah, let's
Yeah.
move on.
Oh.
Okay. So the Mando takes off, and in the background you can see his Naboo starfighter taking off, and Grogu is in the backpack on Luke. They're standing there kind of watching it, and he kind of props himself up out of the basket a little, out of the backpack, and kind of reaches to the sky toward him. And you can tell that he's still like
He knows.
he sensed him, and he misses him, right? You can tell that attachment is still there. And after that, the ship is gone. He kind of sits back into the backpack, and Luke takes off. So they go. I believe this is where he
Training.
does the little training, right? The training remote.
Yeah, this trainer
Yeah.
remote.
Okay, so
Where-
yeah, he comes out. He tells him, "Hey, I want you to jump." And so
He
we
didn't jump
see
like I
this
did.
little
He does-
Grogu. He jumped
does
as
his
high
little
as
1
JR
inch.
jumped.
Yeah.
Is about
Hey, I
how
called
much
it.
he jumped. And he goes, "That's it? That's all
Yeah,
you can
Luke.
do?"
Luke, I thought got a little bitchy. You know, a little frustrated with him. You know,
No,
I
I don't
mean-
think he got frustrated. I think he was playing like
no, but he said, like, is that
Yoda
it?
does.
Like, really? Is that all you got?
Well, I think he was he was obviously prodding him. He was trying to goad him to do something because he doesn't know how Grogu taps into his power, and he's
Right.
obviously not trained to just let me use my ability to force myself to jump. We've seen it's either food driven or danger driven so far
Right.
with the mud beast or whatever. Do I even want to know what someone put about me?
No. I'm laughing at what you said.
Oh, the mud thing.
Yeah,
Or-
no one wrote anything.
No, he's only motivated
Yeah.
by fucking hunger or
or
fear.
danger.
Yeah.
Now, was this the part where Luke said something that we'll go back to, like freaking way back for what Yoda said, like reminiscent?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man,
Yes.
but when that happened, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Such fan service in this episode, but like I ate it all up.
Oh yeah. Give
Yeah.
me more. I'm feasting all day.
But
Okay.
I loved him jumping around, dodging the bullets or whatever the pews, lasers.
Yeah, the training remote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, before we get to that, I mean, he's telling him how to like jump, like
Right.
a Jedi jumps. He's just telling him bend down, jump, and then feel the force flowing through you. And
And he still
he
jumps.
tries again,
Yeah.
and he does the same exact jump. And I'm telling you, I yelled again because I'm just like, why is he so cute? You know, like
He's pure evil.
seriously. And then
What is it
And
with
then-
you and him being evil?
Because it's going to
Because
happen.
JR's evil, bro. What do
No,
you
it's going to
expect?
happen.
He's not going
You
to
guys
have
are
a
just-
black mask
you're
with
blinded.
you.
Layering over everyone, dude.
You are blinded by the fact he's cute. Remember, cats are cute, and a lot of people think cats are evil.
Cats are not tigers. They're cats.
Oh god.
And you could tell cats are evil by just looking them in the eye.
That's
You
how
look
I
at
like
Grogu
dogs.
in the eye, and you're just like, oh, that's so cute.
I'm telling you.
Well, he busts. So finally, Luke busts out the training remote,
Right.
and he kicks it back to him basically like a soccer ball. I was like, no, that's not how you do it.
I thought that was kind of messed up, you know.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
I really
when it,
I
when
know
it
what you're talking
blasted
about.
him.
We'll get to it. So he shows him how to turn it on, uses the force. It turns on, it's swirling around him, and then all of a sudden it just kind of faces off against him, and pew, and it
He
just
gets
blasts
knocked
his
back
little
5 feet.
body like 5 feet on his butt, and he's just like, what? Like shaking his head.
I mean,
and,
to me
and
that I was like,
it was like child abuse almost if he wasn't over 50. You know what I'm
and this is
saying?
where I have to agree with Anthony, where Luke is kind of being a little bit of a dick.
yeah,
Okay.
But you know, Gorgu's going, motherfucker.
yeah. Like when I get my force
Motherfucker.
powers back, I'm gonna take it out on you, man.
So he tells him immediately, you get back up. Every time
Yeah.
you always get back up, right? He's just teaching him these lessons, and
But
maybe
to me, that
he
sounded
didn't.
like whatchamacallit, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where Spider-Man always gets back up, you know.
Right, but I mean, it's just like a life lesson, right? He's teaching him a
Oh
life
yeah,
lesson on top
no,
of the Jedi way.
you don't stay down. You get back up immediately.
Exactly, and he's the whole time he's been teaching him to defend himself, to become, at least capable of not being, afraid.
Right.
Right.
At least that's what I'm
And he
trying to.
and to be mobile.
Yeah.
Right, and so
Until he gets tired of it. And then he gets angry and goes, crack, motherfucker.
well, he gets back up, and it shoots at him again, and this time he does the Jedi leap backwards, right?
Right.
And he's like, good job. And then of course you get your typical training montage, right? Yep. And you've got Grogu just hopping in and skipping around, and he's actually running. Like I saw him run a few steps, and I was just like,
yeah,
he runs too.
He's getting faster.
Yeah.
And so he's just dodging everything. And while he's training, toward the end of his training, I screamed again. Ahsoka comes out from behind the bamboo trees, right behind Luke, as he's watching Grogu train. I screamed my ass off because that's what you wanted to see. That's the fan service you've always wanted. If she ever came to live action, will we ever see her with Luke? When will she come to live action? Will that be the same period, right? And it freaking happens for the first time in the history of Star Wars. So I'm sorry, I'm making a big deal out of it, but I'm excited about it. so as he's finishing up the training, he lands and he just like, I've had enough.
Enough of this shit.
Grogu's like, psh, done with the training remote, goes into the water, and she goes, "Oh, you've been doing a great job teaching him." He goes, "Well, it's not really me teaching him, rather than it was, him unlocking what he already
remembering,
knew." Yeah. And we'll move on from there. Hold on. Go ahead.
So you cannot tell me that that's not out of anger. He snapped that thing.
Well, it didn't look like he did it out of anger. I just feel like it's part of the training. Like he learned how to.
He could have figured how to turn it off.
No.
Or
Grogu, I will admit, Grogu has a mean streak. He does.
He just went, I'm done with this, and went snap.
But Luke also didn't turn an eye, bat an eye.
Luke didn't. Let's face it, Luke
didn't go to that.
Also had a mean streak. His father had a mean streak. Okay.
I'm just saying, these little things are there.
His dad had a mean streak.
Yeah.
They all have.
Because he could turn to the dark side, but it's the matter of fact, like every light has a dark. Like every Jedi could potentially be turned to the dark side.
I agree.
So
there's a little bit of evil and good. There's a little bit of good and evil.
But that was just payback for shooting him. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, try to turn off a droid? It's not a human, so it's not like he's destroying a human. It's just like you use that knee. I'm gonna turn you off the best way I know how.
Well, the thing is, he has no. I personally feel he has very little disregard for life, like going back to eating the eggs of the one lady's kids.
true with that. Yeah.
And the
That could be
frogs.
that could be his food source. Like we
Yeah.
eat cows.
No,
Does that
I
mean
understand
we're
that,
evil?
but no,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying
People in
is,
India think we are.
it's not that it's his disregard of how he does it, is what I'm getting at. And it's
Whoa.
little things like that are, because you're not going to have him go Khaleesi and just all of a sudden flip a switch. Everyone's going, well, where the fuck did that come from? There's little things being breadcrumbs building up on the way.
Yeah, but so far to
Keep
me,
going.
the only time he does that is when
Out
he
of
thinks
anger.
of his stomach.
Out of anger.
No, out of hunger.
Hunger
I
or
think
anger?
he's still like, not to like say that like he's stupid, but I think he's still kind of simple and just doesn't understand
He may
some
be
things.
50, but in Yoda's his not family but tribe or his people, that 50 is the equivalent of the first maybe 5 years of
I
our
get
life.
I get what you guys are saying. I totally get what you're saying. And it could all be harmless, just little kids things, not realizing what they're doing. I get it. But also I'm saying to you, being the fact that they're storytellers,
No,
if they want to make him bad, they're leaving the breadcrumbs right now for you guys that you guys just go, no, that's innocence. That's innocence. That's innocence.
I'll get to that later.
And I'm just going, open your eyes. There's no big bad guy for Luke down the road. We have no one that we know of until we get to his nephew shithead.
We have no idea if he has any part against Admiral Thrawn. We have no idea. He met Ahsoka. We now know he met Ahsoka before she goes after Thrawn.
Right.
So we have no idea if he fights Thrawn.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about, JR. Here you had Anakin. Okay, Anakin was old. He had fear already in his heart, that attachment with his mom. And you saw that when his mom died, he completely wiped out the Tusken Raiders.
They're setting him up, I'm telling you.
Okay, I acknowledge what you're saying, but I mean what Anakin did, and I mean what Grogu, as far as their mentality goes.
But what also getting is we don't have a great villain during the 30 years until we get Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren isn't a great villain either.
Well, I think we're building those 30 years and that great villain. There could be multiples. It was a story that hasn't been told yet. So and right now, Filoni and Favreau, they're unfolding that story as we go. This is we're just 5 years in. That's it.
One thing I was thinking, because you know how like the robots were building the temple.
Mm-hmm.
My question, or the school. My question was that the same school that
was burned down? Yes, it's supposed. It's
not on the island.
The one where Kylo is.
Yeah,
no,
where Kylo is.
Kylo Ren.
It's hinting at that's where the school started. That's where Ben was sleeping in one of those stone huts where Luke was standing over him. It's the same spot
where someone betrayed him.
Right.
Or
someone betrayed him.
Well, I didn't say it because you're going to yell at me going, no, he's cute. Ignore him.
No.
So I'm just going to put up the picture.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about the picture.
No. We'll save it because we got to talk about the training. Okay, so I did miss a part before he got that droid. I think he was training. He was like balancing, right?
Yeah. Well,
he's balancing on a log,
almost,
right? And then kind of like mirroring. Now remember, this is all mirroring like Luke's training almost, right?
Right on Dagobah.
Yeah. Right, and so he's balancing on the tree stump, and then you got Luke, practicing his lightsaber skills.
Right.
Okay, and he's just mesmerized now. Grogu is mesmerized by the lightsaber.
The lightsaber. Oh yes.
And I think also even before that they go on a run, right? He goes, look, I want to show you something. Let me show you.
He puts him on in the pouch.
Yeah, he puts him in the pouch.
In the pouch, just like Yoda was.
And he runs through the forest, right? Like just like Yoda was on his as he was training Luke. And he does the freaking front flip. Just like he does in his training.
And Luke this time isn't sweating half to death.
Yeah, it's all nostalgia. It's just
they couldn't
reminiscing, all paralleling, mirroring almost. And then there's a point where he tells him, don't try, do. And
Right.
that's like, I'm
Exactly
sorry,
what
I got a tear
Yeah.
in my eye.
Yeah, it got a little bit
when that
misty and
happened.
stuff. It was great too. It's like you're trying too hard. Don't
Yeah.
try.
Yeah,
Do. I was
do it.
just like, oh my god, he said it.
And it was very like ethereal the way he said it. It was just like he was just trying to mentor him. He's really mentoring him
That's
on.
the Yoda's voice coming out.
And it was really
Pretty
cool
much.
because it was the flip of the script too. Because you have somebody that's like looks like Yoda, and he's saying it to him,
Right.
And like years later, it was Yoda who said it to Luke. So it was a great flip.
I
of the script.
absolutely love it. Right. So I mean, to me, it's basically it all mirroring his training, and
Yeah.
it's just flipping the roles, right? And it's beautiful to watch. And now we'll get to the point where Ahsoka is talking to Luke, and basically he goes, "Well, I don't know if She hands him the Mando's gift, and he goes, I don't know if Grogu has the heart to do this." And she turns to him, gives a little smirk, and says, "You're just like your father." And I don't care. I lost it because the whole it feels like we're missing a piece of their conversation that they've had already.
Right.
And I feel like I'm a little robbed of that. But just like Travis said, there is an Ahsoka series coming.
And
So who's to say they don't fill in the blanks later on? Because
that's what JR wants. He wants
Yeah.
he wants
I
that
want
conversation.
that too, believe me.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah,
look, we
man.
all
Well,
want that
that-
conversation.
I want that conversation in the sweet bed talk.
Okay, she's way older than him.
So you wouldn't touch her?
Oh, well, yeah. I said, I'm just
Yeah.
saying in the context of where they are at. Now, I'm not saying if you're saying Rosario Dawson,
I'm saying that her as Ahsoka Tano.
I'm
If
good.
you were Luke Skywalker, you wouldn't touch her.
I'm good. And
No.
he's not
You're
supposed
full
to.
of shit.
And he's not supposed to.
You're full of shit.
He's not supposed to have
And she
attachments.
won't
Sir.
either.
He still has attachments.
It's
They
like
both
it's
do.
her nephew.
Yeah.
They both do, yeah.
Not by blood.
No, but in a way, yes, because her and Anakin were bonded by
They were
stronger
close.
blood.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
So
And
anyway,
as we know from the prequels, and that Luke went really deep into the Jedi lore and the law and that, and like fell right into it. So like I don't think he would have any attachments.
no.
As much as like I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna be a Sith today just so I could be with her. But
So,
I mean, even though we know
so
that
if we're gonna go that route, first off, Splinter of Mind's Eye, he slept with Leia. Get over sleeping with her aunt. Let's just fuck off on that. Second
who
off,
said he slept with Leia?
he kissed her. He didn't sleep with her.
Yeah.
What movie did
they
you watch?
sure as hell implied.
Oh my God, who talks
No,
about
no,
sex,
no,
bro?
No.
Okay, the
Did
school
any of
system
you
that
guys
fails
read
you with
Splinter
sex
of
ed.
Mind's Eye? Have any of you read Splinter of Mind's Eye or know what I'm fucking talking about?
That
Okay.
is Legends. It's not canon.
All I'm saying is you know
think
what?
Disney's gonna? You think
No,
Disney's not gonna
of course
Disneyfy that
Disney-
shit?
Disney's
Incest.
like, hey, that's the first book that's going to be put on the fire. That's not going to count. I understand that, but I'm
That's
just
the first
saying,
book
get
they're
off.
saying it's completely banned.
All I'm saying is, he could sleep with his aunt. She's not his aunt. She's not even the same species as him. Get off it.
He's
The other-
he's a Jedi master now. They don't sleep with people.
He still has attachments. He did at the very
Isn't there a
when he
book where
showed up for Leia and them. He
Doesn't he
proves
get
that his
married?
attachments
Doesn't Luke get married and have a kid?
In Legacy.
in Legends.
and Legends. That's if Mara Jade shows up.
Right. So anyway,
So,
let's
anyways,
get back to Mando.
well, let's.
We go into deep theorizing about like if he's sleeping
We
with
could
the
save that for
soaker.
another show. We could save that for the post series.
the after talk.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they part ways. She basically looks like she's gonna leave the planet. and go do her thing. So now we are off. We're back to
Mando.
taking off with the in the Naboo starfighter back to Boba's palace now.
Right, on
No
Tatooine.
longer Jabba's palace.
Only
And-
took us, what, 25 minutes for Boba to show up in the show?
No,
Yeah.
I don't even care. Like,
I-
I don't think
I
this is
know.
like
I
it's the
really
Book
need
of
to
Boba
read
Fett. Where's
Nobody
Boba?
this
cares,
was-
JR. Nobody cares.
No,
I was
really
having
need
too
to
much fun in the
Book of
show.
Mando.
I
to
know
even
what
care.
JR's going. He's that the fact that Boba Fett hasn't shown up legitimately for a full episode and a half.
Like 3/4. Should
You
be
know,
Book
I
of,
mean,
Book of Mando is what they should have called it.
But aren't they trying to do this like kind of like a religious book, like the book of like Jesus in a way, and that like, and he wasn't always in that story. Like there's always these
wasn't always the one
side
telling the
stories
story.
that like led to the
Yeah.
big picture story. So that's what
Actually-
they're kind of doing in this.
In the Book of Boba Fett, that Travis is trying to say, comparatively to the Bible, it's in the Bible. All those books are written by other people, so it's a different point of view from every person.
right.
That's
For every
nice
writer.
and cute and all, but we're only getting 7 episodes. We want to see Boba Fett.
We're only
Give
getting
us
7
fucking
episodes.
Boba Fett. Boba
We're
Fett.
only in 7 episodes in season 1, sir.
We haven't heard anything.
You're not gonna see
You
the-
guys
I don't
shot
think-
me down when I
still think
said I
we're
thought
gonna
there was
see the
season
battle.
two.
No,
No, I did not.
I heard this is just going to be one and done, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that we won't see because, like, of course, we're getting the Ahsoka series, we're
Yeah.
getting the Mandalorian season,
Right.
so everything's connected in a way. So it doesn't mean like, of course, the Mandalorian's been showing up in this show. So who's to
Mhm.
say that this Boba
Boba-
Fett won't
Boba
show up
Fett
in the
won't
other
show up in his
series?
show, right?
No, I agree. I just, to me, calling a show Book of Boba Fett and not have him show up in 1 3/4 of the episodes out of 7 episodes is kind of
Yeah,
bullshit.
five-
Now, mind you, these 2 episodes have
5 and a
been.
third.
1 and
The
3/4,
best part-
sir.
5 and
I'd say
2/3, I mean.
1.9.
I was being nice, but these have been the best episodes of it. I'm just saying.
Hell yeah.
And no Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah, we did get him
so
like
be
for a
it.
second. He just stood. He didn't even say anything. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, he just kind of
he said like one line.
Yeah.
like didn't even say hi to the Mando. He just
Yeah.
because
But he
I'm
showed
thinking.
up.
I thought Fennec was the one that did all the talking, and I don't think he did even speak in this episode at all.
I think he just
No,
said
he
one
does.
line.
He does.
Yeah, just one line.
But he shows up in the meeting, where everyone's gathered. Black K is there. I don't even want to say the Furious Five, but
Power Rangers.
yes,
The mods. That's what they're
Planeteers.
calling them. The
Yeah,
mods.
the mods.
the mods,
The mod squad.
Yeah.
the mod squad's there, and the Gamorrean guards.
Yep.
I
the
think,
Gamorrean- the
What was
Gamorrean guard
Timothy
greets
Olyphant's
him.
name?
Huh?
What's his character name? Timothy Olyphant's character?
Cobb that?
Yeah, he's had more screen time, more lines in this episode than Boba Fett has.
The Marshal.
Everybody has. No one's. He's only in it for he's one line and like
Right.
I don't know, a minute?
even Fennec Chan.
Hey, okay, I just want to say this to you. Just like remember there's who's like is the mayor of that town. He is like second in
Tice.
commander is like
Yeah,
like
he was-
all changed up and that he's like,
Yeah.
oh, the mayor went on vacation.
No.
Yeah.
It was a
that guy deserves
scheduled
to be slapped.
vacation.
Yeah, scheduled vacation. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Fennec gives him that look like
Yeah, like really, like
outta
we're
here.
really gonna believe that,
no, you're just that stupid. That's all.
But
So, I mean,
he's giving a typical political answer,
Yeah.
and of course, no one's buying it. He's gonna say it 50 times, and all 50 times they're all gonna give him a look like shut your pie hole,
And his around like I never thought that Boba got that many people surrounding because like he only had the 5 mods and then the Wookiee and then he had a ton of people around that table, so he must have gotten respect throughout this time to like have this many people backing him
Whoa.
because there's a lot more than I
Funny, 'cause
thought he
originally all he had originally was Fennec Shan, and
Yeah.
little by little he's building, throughout the whole series.
Well,
which he's
obviously
needed to.
they're in like a war room. They're looking at the hollow map
Right.
of Tatooine, right? Of actually Mosa Espa.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's basically saying, all the whispers in the town are saying this is where the Pikes are, building up their forces, and they have like a crap load of soldiers building up, and they absolutely have only Mando and Chrysanthemum as their enforcers, and the 5 Mod Squad, the 2 Gamorreans, a Rancor, and Fennec and Boba. Like, seriously, it's like 12 people against an army.
Right.
And so she's blatantly says the obvious thing in the room. We need an
foot soldiers.
army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mando, a volunteer, says, I think I can get you some help.
And they're like, oh, really?
You're like, yeah. And next thing you know, he takes off. So he's off.
First, he's doing it for free. Now he comes bearing gifts, with the
and to be honest with you, that whole beginning kind of threw me off too, because like I didn't think it was setting up anything for the longest time, because we were like, okay, now we have all of this and we're getting close to the end. Like, was that just there just to be there? But then they played that off, because like now, considering the Pikes are connected with the spice that was there, we knew like, oh, he's just like, you know what, they might be coming for me. Maybe I should team up with these people if they're planning on like taking down the Pikes that are kind of like going to actually come after me eventually, probably.
Right.
And I want to answer something to what Evil Comics said about Han can't be there because of rebellion and stuff. You got to remember, this is after the war is over. The Empire's been defeated. If Luke can go off and do his pilgrimage,
Han could be
sure as hell Han can go off and do it.
It's all not impossible, because we're talking about a certain time frame where it's after the Return of the Jedi, and him and Leia go off. But then remember, there's a point where they kind of break off because he's been found still smuggling, right? And they have that little breakup.
Well, there's also another person that could show up too, and that's Lando.
True.
Yeah.
Lando's still a fucking smuggler. He could show up.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
But I think Han and Leia break up after the whole incident with their son.
That's probably true too.
Well, they've got to first have the son.
Right. They have the
before
son.
they could break up with the son.
Trained,
break up
the incident happened.
So do you think eventually Leia will show up? Because you could do the same thing with the de-aging and then bring in her daughter.
Only if it fits the story and it calls for something like that. I don't think they would actually put her in unless it actually was a necessity to tell that story.
Because she's right now one of the leaders of the new government.
Yeah, she's kind of busy.
Right. So I don't think she would be there.
Well, it depends, because the way the books are written that are canon, so don't fuck off. They do have her as part of the government and starting to step up to bring it up, but she does take time away when she has the kids. There's a certain point where she does step away for training. She sneaks off for the training. She's not there for 6 years doing training. She's there for 2 months or something, and then goes off.
Yeah, because like I know, I'm pretty sure what's his name that played Han Solo. I can't think of his name right now. He doesn't want to have anything to do with Star Wars. Like that's why he initially got killed off, wasn't it?
Well, they can bring in the new kid. They can bring the young kid to do it.
It would be a better fit if they actually did out in our whatever his name is.
Also, once again, Evil's referencing the old books.
Yeah.
Right.
He in the currently they've kind of left that time frame open on purpose.
And look,
we don't know where Han is.
I'll give Filoni and Favreau credit. They are trying to weave in parts of Legends and making them canon again, right? So I get it, but they are picking and choosing what they want to put in and not.
Right.
So I mean, only time will tell if any of us are right in all of our guesses. So
Yeah, I think what Favreau and Filoni
Not
are doing is
Grogu.
they're trying to make what they want canon, and this is what's going to be canon going forth in that, and
Right.
like yeah, like you said, picking and choosing and stuff. So everything going forth, like whether it was canon in the books or not, this is the new canon. And
I mean, if you want to be truthful, if you've read those books, and I've read quite a handful of those books, right? Honestly, they're not going to fit in Disney. They just not going to fit. There's some really weird, some gruesome stuff in that stuff, like those clones,
Right.
bro. They were nasty as hell. It was there was a lot of gruesome deaths. It's not the same. And then it's there's a lot of weird stuff going on too. Like obviously JR says, he slept with Leia. So I mean, they're not doing half-assed
yeah.
stuff.
No, they're not doing that.
But in the current run of the books, that the Disney canon, they're purposely leaving. I'll get to that in a sec. They're purposely leaving the 10 years after Return of the Jedi open for Mandalorian and that stuff.
Right.
I know, Evil, you're right. He was still part of the rebellion.
Mhm.
He was still connected to the rebellion, but he was off doing his own stuff too during that time.
I thought that's what he got in trouble for.
He's never been, I'm going to be an army man through and through the whole time.
That wasn't
It
him.
was,
That
hey,
was never
you
him.
call me, I'll be there.
Yep.
That's always how he's been, and that's how they've done it in the books.
Right.
I'm not talking about the comics. I'm talking about the Bloodlines book and stuff. They reference where him and Leia are not even together. They're on two different places. He's doing stuff that's not necessarily Republic-based stuff. He's doing his own thing. There is stuff where he does do missions for the Republic during that time, but he's also doing his own thing.
Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, I mean, Han Solo has always been his own man, more or less.
Right.
Well, let's get past this and
Right.
go on to the next part. So
Oh.
Mando goes to Mos Pelgo.
Yep.
And he lands in front of like basically a sheriff, like the little cantina that they have.
You
I just
can't
want to
park
point
that
out
Starship
as they're flying those little
yes.
Easter egg
the
though and stuff.
Jawas.
The guy, the giant, what was
Crate
the
dragon.
Crate
The
dragon.
Great
Yeah, the
dragon
dragon
skull
skull.
on that?
Yeah, the Jawas freaking like just like a Texas Longhorn that's on the front of like a caddy, right?
Yeah.
They took
Yeah.
the freaking crate dragon skull, put it on top of their scavenger,
And they were so proud of that.
And not just that, they were also watching. Like I feel like these are the same Jawas that
Jawas
got
that
Mando his
helped
parts.
fix- Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like was one of the boyfriends of the engineer, like the
Ooh,
right
furry.
of the
Because they
mechanic,
looked
and
like they were pointing at it, and they were like, "Yes, we
Yeah.
built that. We
they were
built
pointing
that."
at it like they were very proud, like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
stole that piece. Oh,
Yeah,
we got
that
that
was
piece
us."
too."
Yeah.
You know?
I just love it because it was like throwing back. Like this is like the whole episode all like threw back to so many different eras, different episodes. Like
Yeah.
it threw back to everything in the Star Wars universe. It feels like, and like they were just throwing back at like, oh, we're gonna go visit this guy that was in episode 2 of the Mandalorian or season
Right.
2, episode 1, wasn't it? Or what
Yes,
episode?
yes, you're right. Yeah, season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like,
Tim
and that's
Grohl.
what happened in that episode. So it was kind of a good throwback to that.
Oh, damn straight. But then what's fun? What I find funny is that here, Mando lands his little Star Cruiser, and the deputy comes out, all big and bad. You can't park that there. You can't park it.
It was a
You
dick
know-
swinging contest. That's what it was.
Yes, and
He's like,
Mando's like,
you didn't
I'm
hear
here to
me?
see
I
Marshall
said
Van,
you
and here comes the marshal behind him. It's like, hey kid, go back inside. I got this.
I love how he didn't get a name in this episode. Like you knew he wasn't like he wasn't very important. He was like
He was a red shirt.
Yo,
Oh, that sucks.
Straight up red shirt.
And for all you who don't get that reference, he just referenced a Star Trek reference
yeah,
Yep.
for someone who doesn't care about Star Trek.
I don't, but I mean, it's just like stormtroopers can't hit. a target. I mean, it
Yeah.
fits.
But anyways,
but that deputy, I mean, he just like get back in the house, kid.
so yeah, they catch up, right? They're
Yep.
he's like, sorry about your armor, and he goes, well, where's the kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
you know,
we both lost something that we care
fond,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, you know what? The Mando tells him, let me buy you a drink. So they walk off into the little bar cantina, and they start talking about, asking if he can help them,
Yep.
join the fight, trying to convince him that they'll be next, that if they don't help stop this, it's just going to be a domino effect, right?
And what
And
I find funny is that even though we had that scene at the beginning with the marshal, and he knows it's coming. He knows it's coming, okay? And yet he still said no. Which I found weird, and Mando had to convince him, that whether he wanted to or not, this was coming to his town, but he knew it was there already. So
well, I mean, he also have to look at it from his point of view, where like that town is
right, they're tired.
It's a very small town. It's been through hell already.
Yep.
They've had their set of bullies. They've had a freaking crate dragon, basically haunting them every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they just want peace and quiet, like any other person in the world, right? And they're just they only fought because they had to fight.
Right.
But I do agree with Anthony though. Like he did kind of start it, but like you knew there was going to be repercussions for like dumping the
spice.
all that spice in that, because like that was a lot of money in that. Like if he would have just let them go with the spice, he knew that there wouldn't be any issues with that. But he actually took the spice and got rid of it. So definitely they were coming. But at the same time, come the end, you find out that he could have just kind of walked away.
Yeah, he could have. But
yeah,
I would have definitely been like, all right, well, actually, Mandalorian makes a good point. Though we'll be coming here soon, and I know this for a fact, so I might as well get the
town involved,
fight while we can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the fight comes here, that we'll meet it head on and try to head it off.
Yeah, no, I don't argue the point that he should have thought about his actions earlier in the day. Because I mean, yeah, you would think there's repercussions, even though, I mean, they all know it's just you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if a gang of people come, they're just gonna come back with more. It's just how it goes, how it's gonna go.
Which is exactly what happens.
Exactly. So, but obviously he's asking him, and he's saying no, and then the barkeep, interrupts, says no. The citizens.
But I like how it's no longer Mos Pelgo.
Yeah, it's Freetown.
Yeah.
But here's the great thing: if you guys have read Aftermath, which is the book that's supposed to be connected to, like, I think those last 9, the last 3 episodes, of Star Wars, there was an Aftermath book, and it was supposed to be, I think, in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
It's a trilogy that takes place in between the thing, and it introduces
Vance.
Well, that, but it also introduces one of the pilots in the rebellion down the road that I forget the guy's name that he played, but he had basically Mr. Bones was his robot that had his necklace, and you remember him dying. Have you ever seen the show Heroes? Yeah. He was the cop from Heroes, I believe. The white guy. He was the pilot. They called him. He was like Wedge Antilles' son.
Wedge Antilles.
Antilles. He was Wedge Antilles' like stepson in the movie and stuff.
But who was
he? Or is by marriage to say. He was the cop, the white guy, the heavy set.
Oh yes.
He was a pilot towards the end, and
Okay.
Are you talking about the guy behind the bar?
Yes.
Yeah, he played
No,
in.
The telepath.
No,
The
no,
guy
no.
who was the telepath in Heroes.
The guy behind the bar was not the guy that I'm talking about.
No.
So what Jeff's referring to, that book, the trilogy that he was referring to,
Right.
they have that kid. The kid ends up growing up and being a pilot in the rebellion.
And he's the guy who plays
He's the guy that plays in
that
Heroes,
character.
the cop in Heroes, the telepath in Heroes.
Yes. Who was
Okay,
also,
yeah,
who was
yeah.
Oh,
also-
I
Snap
remember him.
Wexley.
Snap, thank
Yeah.
you. Couldn't think of his
Yeah, I
name.
don't know his name.
Jeez.
I
Okay,
know
yeah.
that he got his big.
I know
I'm
who
like
you're talking
thinking, I was
about.
like, I know the name. I'm like,
Because I just remember Mr. Bones was his
you,
robot.
You meant
Oh,
Greg
okay.
Grumberg.
Yes,
That's
Greg
the
Grumberg.
actor.
Also,
Yeah.
fun fact about the name Freetown. I got excited for that too because if you type in Prince Edward Island and you type in Freetown, it's a road. It's a little area that I lived in.
What?
So I lived in
really?
Freetown
That's awesome.
growing up. So I was like, yeah, this means extra more to me. And also the Crate Dragon's rib cage was inside the bar.
Inside the cantina, right?
Yeah.
Or in the bar, whatever you want to call
Right.
it. But yeah, it's really cool how like the Crate Dragon went to like different people.
Yeah.
The food went to the Tuscans, or the Pearl went to the Tuscans. You know, the Freetown got the
Right.
ribs, and the Jawas got the head, the skull.
See, and I'm glad you brought up the Tuscans, though. That's who I've been waiting for to show up.
Well, we don't know if anybody got away. We're just guessing because we didn't see all the dead bodies.
I still think that one did.
But the Tuscans that helped from most Espa were probably different Tuscans than the ones that Boba was with.
Probably.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Mando's Tuscans.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've been waiting for those guys to show up.
Yeah.
You know, since we knew that he had contact with the marshal. You know,
And that could be
who
who
at
he's-
least mentioned them, that maybe we'll get them together.
And that could be part of who he's getting.
Interest.
Well, we don't know if Mando only stopped at Cobb Vanth for
Right.
help. We don't know if he didn't stop off where the Tuscans are, that he knows
Right.
of. He knows some Jawas, so maybe they know some other people. Like he has a connection to Tatooine for sure.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So it's not impossible that he just did it off screen.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting if they get together for one reason and yet dealing with Boba, because now Boba knows their ways. They'll see the stick that he has, and it'll be even a bigger reason for them to help out.
Yep.
Yeah. But-
Anyway,
So he's trying to convince him, and he basically kind of leaves without an agreement. He just tells him, just tells him, and Mando takes off. And after he takes off, we have Cobb Vanth. He's kind of looking around, and all of a sudden he gets this eerie feeling, and he hears like the wind chimes.
No, but he tells the barkeep first to get all the men and women of fighting age, so he knows what he's gonna do. He's already made the decision.
No, he made a decision that he's gonna try to convince the people. The people still have to vote on it.
Yeah.
So
and he's just like, what did he say? He's like, they may want to after I say what I have to say, and that brings it back to the very starting of the episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we obviously know that the people don't want to do it, but he's going to tell them some information that would help them convince them to do so.
Exactly.
And then again, the wind chime comes in, and he looks off into the distance, and
How long before we say who it is? How long did it take you guys to realize who it was?
I knew it right away.
Oh yeah, you could tell by the hat.
Yeah.
I knew it right away because it was.
Steve said something.
Well, even before he said anything, I just saw the hat in the distance. I was like,
even if you don't get it spoiled by people, you look in
the silhouette.
You know who's directing. You know who wrote it. you know it's his character.
Oh yeah.
You knew there was a rumor about it the whole time, and the fact that that's what people want, and this guy is all about giving that fan service, and he's just a fan, just as much as we are. He just happens to be one of the creators as well.
Right.
Well, and this is the thing too. He does have a connection with Boba Fett, doesn't he? Like he's the reason why Boba Fett has the dent in his helmet.
Well, in the history of Star Wars, I believe he also Cad Bane trained Boba.
That's right.
So and then
So he
they
wants
got
revenge.
into a supposed fight, and that was like it was like a deleted scene that never got shot. It was so they did an animation of it at one of the Star Wars Celebration or D23 or something like that.
Okay.
And it basically showed them facing off. Each one shoots each other. Everyone thought Cad Bane's dead, and you see Boba's helmet on the ground, and you see the dent in it and smoke coming out of it. So it's kind of unwritten. It's not really technically canon, but I'm pretty sure they're going to make it canon now that they did have this connection at some point in the past.
But my question is, what kind of blaster could put a dent in Beskar?
I don't know.
We're going to find out.
One thing is kind of Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was going to say that has to be quite the blaster, you know.
Yeah. One thing that's kind of interesting, I don't know if you've ever noticed, like when the show's done and it goes, I think it's whatever that other documentary about Boba Fett is afterwards.
Yeah,
it kind of shows
watching that. Yeah.
Well, it shows though your Disney Plus will show like in the background like a drawing of Boba Fett, and it specifically says dent. Like it shows like an arrow going to where that dent needs to be in the helmet, which I think is kind of funny, maybe a little foreshadowing, because we all know the story about that he just said. So,
and you're talking about that, like the making of, like after the episode.
Yeah, I think it's a making of. Yeah,
I have not watched that part yet. I'm gonna watch probably after this.
But if you just watch any episode of Mando after it's done, and if you don't go into another episode, it'll automatically go to that screen.
Oh, the making of, yeah.
And it shows that just the drawing of it.
Yeah, the background shows like the throne, and then it shows like the helmet on the floor and stuff, and says the word dent. Yeah, I see that.
It's a very interesting.
I'm pretty sure Boba said he was wearing Beskar.
Beskar, yeah.
And he said it in the episode where he went back. He got Slave One and went back to the to find his armor.
Yeah.
And
so
he didn't say it. Fennec said it.
So I don't know if his current armor
is pure Beskar.
His armor that he originally got from his father's corpse, was Beskar.
Yep, because it's original Mandalorian.
That was Beskar.
But
the current armor he had, because the one that after the Sarlacc pit was pretty tore up. That's why he doesn't have as much anymore. It may not be as pure as it was, but it's still pretty pure. The helmet, I think, was fine afterwards.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the helmet's not Beskar.
I think the helmet was Beskar, though.
Yeah. I think the whole thing's Beskar because I think it's his father's suit.
Right.
His father's armor.
Yeah,
right, but
that was
also
sorry, go ahead, JR.
But also the acid had chewed through a lot of it. So they had to because if you notice he's wearing less armor than he normally would. Like his armor's definitely changed.
But I also don't think the whole thing was armor. So whatever was not armor, it chewed through, but it couldn't go through the Beskar because the Beskar would be.
I think it did.
Well, you got to remember that when he got the armor back, the Jawas, probably repaired a lot of it, because remember it went through the Marshal's hands. I mean, it went from the Jawas to the Marshal to Mando back to Boba. Okay. So there's a possibility that, during that time, because the Jawas don't just pick up stuff and sell it. They'll repair it. They'll fix it. So maybe they, in some way, fix some of the holes or the damage done to that armor?
I don't know. We're all guessing at
just
this point.
assuming. know.
But let's get to the part.
I think they are gonna make that canon though. Like going forth, they definitely like have that whole relationship between him and Boba Fett, and make it canon because like he said like what did he say exactly to he said that he's a ruthless bounty hunter. So like he knows him. That it's now canon that he does know him. So that could be definitely.
That's the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna speak on the Beskar thing. So the Beskar thing is, if you remember when Boba got back his armor from the Mando, he showed him the history of that armor. It's an original Mandalorian armor, and it should be a Beskar armor as well, because even Fennec says it, and Boba doesn't say anything against it, right? So I'm thinking it's Jango's armor that he retrofitted for himself, and it's just like that whole honorable thing that, and it even says it was his father's armor. His name's on there as well.
I just found something from Wikipedia, and I just posted it in the chat. That the armor is made of Beskar.
Yeah, you think that because like Jango Fett was a Mandalorian that kind of separated, like he left the clan,
right,
and then went on to do the whole clone stuff and like give his body to clones, and so if it was armor that he had that he passed down to his son, well, his son would have just taken it,
right?
Do you think that it was Beskar?
I mean, but again, we could all be wrong.
No, but
let's get to the point where I screamed 3 times in a row.
Oh, Cat, yes.
Screamed when I saw the figure in the background. I was just going, no, fuck out of here. and then he's telling everyone to like, he tells the lady, get everyone into the inside, get them off the street.
He knows danger's coming.
And then it turns back to him, and I was like, oh my God, he's closer. And then he goes back, and the deputy kind of comes out, and you see
again
from behind, you see his boots, you see his outfit, his hat, and there's no mistaking anymore. It is Cad Bane. We have Filoni's creation, Cad Bane from the Clone Wars. I mean, from the Clone Wars, right?
Clone Wars, yes.
I think it was the last episode of the first season or something like that, where he shows up.
The last place we did see him though was over the Bad Batch. He was he was hired to take down Omega.
So there's another connection that we didn't even talk about before, where he has a connection to Fennec Shan, because Fennec Shan was also going after Omega, right? And they fought for this prize,
I forgot about that.
and he actually lost. He had to leave.
And that's when Fennec Shan was still essentially, trying to climb her way through the ranks of of being a bounty hunter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's saying so much about these characters, right? Because if you watch that Bad Batch episode, if you watch the Clone Wars, you know how these characters are, and they portrayed him perfectly. And thank goodness they kept his voice. They kept the voice actor.
It'd be really cool to see an image of this, though. I think an image of Cad Bane, especially with his hat coming up.
Yeah.
Do we have something of this, maybe, Jeff?
I think we do. Hold on. Let me get there.
I just want to speak on this. Like, you have him coming up, and you just see like his mouth, and the rest of it's just covered
with the hat.
And then to like the point where it just goes down, and then you see the eyes, and they're like, I was like, oh my God, he looks amazing.
Yeah, they didn't like compromise on him at all. No. It's just like, because I was wondering how they were going to do him.
So, are we watching this yet? Can you guys see anything?
Yeah, we can see. You got to put in presentation though.
Yeah.
So there's our young Luke.
The 5 pictures of Luke and.
So obviously we went through this. So sorry, Alonzo. I forgot all about it. We got so into it. So we obviously
There's the bitch. I mean, Ahsoka.
Jesus.
Oh, come on now.
Easy.
Come on now. You
Oh, I
cannot
hated
say that
Sarah.
about
She's
Ahsoka.
a
I
Jedi.
hated
Or
Sarah
Rosario
Dawson.
Dawson.
man went to
Oh.
bits.
She's a horrible human being. Next.
Oh my
So
goodness.
drop your man.
Can
I
you
don't want
please-
her to go to the
Can you
dark
please
side.
be a good person and be a? Can you please
I will
invoke
never be
the
that.
Jedi?
Great.
Please invoke the Jedi.
You
No.
forgot, like, it should be a red lightsaber.
No, he's trying to get me to be the opposite of what I am.
Yeah.
A good guy.
Okay, but you know what? I want to talk about the scene really quick before we go back. This is, if you don't know, this is the first time we see a reunion of her and R2
True,
since the
yeah.
Clone Wars.
Yes.
So
'cause
I
she
mean,
knows exactly
I
who he
screamed
is.
again
Yeah.
when I saw this happen, and he got all giddy when she was there. So I mean, it just goes to show like fan service works for me.
Yeah.
Should have shocked her.
Okay, there's Cobb Van. He's back. Good
He's
God, you're
freaking
such
guy,
a
man.
jerk. So here we are. We have Cad Bane, and
Now
That
everyone was
lower
worried.
right corner.
the only problem I mean, the whole outfit was perfect. The only thing I had a problem with was the color of the face.
What?
No, because
The light
when you're
blue.
looking at him straight ahead, look, give me a sec. When you're looking at him straight ahead, it's the perfect blue that you see in the animated version. Okay, but in the lower right hand corner, it's a pale white.
That doesn't mean. Okay, so that all depends on lighting, right? So
Yeah.
this could have depended on where the screenshot was taken.
But they
how it
could
was
have fixed
taken.
it digitally, though.
Yeah,
That's the
No.
only problem I had with it.
I'm saying
But
it depends.
it's going to show up differently in the dark. I mean, when his hat is covering his face
Yeah.
face is going to have shadow on it.
And
It's
I
going to be darker.
understand that, but they couldn't fix it digitally so that the color matched.
Why? It's realistic because there's sun
Yeah.
coming off the sand. It's reflecting, so it's
Yeah.
coming up now.
I
So he's
think
gonna
it was
be
like-
showing all of it.
I personally think it was done on purpose.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
way.
Well,
because it makes look at the contrast, right? When you're looking at him here, and then you get the close up. That is beautiful. Seeing that,
right? No, that's great, but I mean, that's my opinion. That's all.
Well, it's perception
I'm a
too.
perfectionist.
Oh goodness. Well, that you don't know if that's realistic.
There's only
I have to
one
check.
person
I
at
have
the
to
old
check
looking
some of
loud.
the animated versions to see how they made him look in that position.
Watch out, Anthony. Next week he's going to have photos of you as a slug. You don't be careful.
So he shows up, and it's fantastic.
You and
because
I'll be the twins next week.
He's not the
Watch.
only one that has Photoshop.
No,
the
no.
twins showing up
No,
would be
sir.
awesome.
You are the twin.
No.
You are the twin son, sir. You are the twin sons.
Oh my goodness!
Somebody's been raiding my Facebook.
Wow, dude, man.
Yeah.
So I do
Someone
gotta
has
point
a
out
hard on for me.
that he already knew that Fett came to this place and asked for help for them because he came up and he's like, the first thing he says is like, whatever Fett's paying you, will double it.
Right.
All you got to do is stay out of it.
That's one.
Yeah.
Number two, he knew he used to have armor and didn't anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so he knew that that was a weakness. Period.
Well,
You know,
that he
and then
could see
three,
just from looking at
That
him.
idiot deputy steps out when he was told to go back in his room.
Oh my god, that look too is just like what was it? He doesn't accept bribes and then just the look he gives when he just looks over at him and that is like you just gotta shut up, deputy.
Dumbass.
You know, like shut up. Go back in your room already.
Again, who didn't see that coming? It was
Yes.
all like very predictable.
Yeah, it's just
in
like
that
just
sense.
shut up until you get a name. And like then you're safe. Like
Yeah.
And as we come to find out, he doesn't live long enough to get a name.
Yeah.
No, he gets no credit, sir. And definitely doesn't deserve any.
No, definitely not.
So I mean, look, I've watched all those Clone Wars episodes. I've seen Cad Bane in every episode he's ever been in. This makes me so happy the way he looks, the way he spoke,
Definitely the
and
way he spoke.
all of it, all his actions and everything.
Yeah.
It just they nailed Cad Bane.
The pearly white teeth.
Thank you,
Well-
Filoni.
Well, you knew they were going to nail him with. I mean,
Well, they had to. If
The-
Filoni
yeah,
wasn't happy with
Filoni's-
it, he was going to fix
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
So
But I mean,
thank
just that
goodness.
part with that lower right hand corner, lower left hand corner, with the hat where he's tilted
Yeah.
down, and just that
He
that
looks
shot
so
alone
badass.
made me so fucking happy. Just seeing that of him talking like, "Yeah, motherfucker, this is gonna happen. This is what's gonna be," and then you just kind of
Like-
slowly see the pan up of
That
him
shot,
raising the hat.
that shot that you pointed to the lower left hand, it reminds
Yeah.
me of one of the spaghetti westerns.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
The guy that
oh
they
yeah,
call
the good,
Angel
the bad,
Eyes.
and the ugly. It
Yeah,
reminds
Angel
you of-
Eyes. Angel Eyes from the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because he
Yep.
was the one who wore the straight hat, and he didn't talk much. He just let his posture do the talking. He was just a complete
Sa-
badass.
Same thing in like Unforgiven, the priest.
Yep.
He's just like quiet, but he's a dead shot.
Oh hell yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the portrayal of this character. It's this Western style that they
Yep.
had for this whole episode was on the nose,
The desert.
perfectly,
Yep.
executed. It felt good. It also felt like he was like that henchman that the mafia sends out too, right?
Yeah.
That tells you back the F off, or we gonna have some
Right.
problems,
Or like,
right?
like you said, the westerns, even back then, they had bounty hunters. Okay.
And I just want to point out to like Mike said that it was a callback to Justified. It's funny that you say that because the guy behind the bar is an actor that played on Justified with
What?
Oh, really?
with him as well. So it's just like the
Oh, wow.
two are
Wow.
back together. And Azores, I shot the sheriff and I killed the deputy.
Yeah.
Never
What
thought of
about
that.
that?
Oh my
Oh,
god,
shit.
that blew my mind right
Yeah.
now.
I'm done. Game over. That's
But I thought that
hilarious.
I didn't shoot the deputy, but not in this case though.
Right.
Oh my god, that's perfect. So yeah, I mean, he's completely menacing. He gets his point across, but
And then just
But
walks
as-
away.
yeah, as a deputy was like doing his dumbassness, basically, I think Cobb Vanth could have probably held his own. I'm not saying he
No.
would have. I'm
No.
not saying he would have because Cad Bane is pretty badass, can take down Jedis. But Cobb Vanth was already like,
No, well, he got distracted
yeah, he
by
did get
the
distracted.
deputy. The deputy
we'll never know.
Had it not been for the deputy, it would have been
At
a
least a fair
dead
fight.
shot one-on-one. Yes.
Right.
So I mean, we see, but here's the good thing. I think they purposely shot the shot a certain way.
Yes. He's still
The
alive.
shots that went into deputy, obviously he dead. He
Oh
does
Yeah.
hell
dead.
yes. He
Okay.
got hit
But
4
Cobb-
times.
Cobb
But
may
Cobb
still be
Vanth,
alive.
He got hit in the top right shoulder,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And he just went down, and everybody around was saying, "Oh, get the doctor, get the doctor."
Right.
So he could still be alive, and
Yes.
obviously we all think he's still alive because they're not killing him.
I mean, hell, they brought back Fennec Shan, okay, when she was
Yeah.
dead.
Oh yeah,
So-
they.
Oh,
they had
come
mod-
on. Can you mod him and give him like a little shotgun coming off the shoulder there? Do like a war machine type thing?
He needs something now, man.
He could. This could possibly give him the armor
Okay,
that he
okay.
needs.
Yeah, and then this
or
will
a metal
definitely
arm.
give the town folk of Freetown the like they're gonna rise up. They're gonna go after
Yeah,
these people.
yeah.
There's no
Because-
turning back now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the closing scene from that was of the
the
bartender.
barkeep. Yep.
Yep. Just
The
knowing
guy who was
now how
he
dangerous.
was so against helping Mando that he has no truck in the fight.
Yes.
Well, now they do.
Yep.
They have a martyr. The deputy is their martyr.
Well, sort of, because we don't know if he's dead, but
Oh,
the marshal is
did
loved by everybody. He's loved by everybody in that town, and they took out the coolest guy there. They're gonna want to fight back.
Please just let him ride in on top of the sand cruiser, the sand crawler
No,
with the fucking crate
No,
dragon
I would say
head on the
no.
top of it.
oh god,
I just
I was
want to
gonna
see
say
him
top
come
of the
in.
Rancor, but that's
This-
even better.
Speaking of like things where like that the Boba Fett's going to be riding that Rancor,
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's going to be next
True.
episode. That's happening.
We don't see that. I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah,
No,
it's
they're
been
gonna put
mentioned. It
that
has
in
to
there.
happen.
They're gonna put that in there. They have to.
the one other thing I want to bring up to go with Cad Bane is one of the other people that he hung out with and they trained with was Aura Singh.
Mhm.
We'll unfortunately probably never see her because they kind of killed her off before the
Yes.
Solo movie.
she done
But
dead.
she was a badass.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we won't ever get her. But just put it this way, she could have probably taken on Luke without a problem in his current right now where he's at. And Cad Bane can go toe to toe with her. So that just tells you the level of badass he is.
Yeah. Cad Bane was always that guy who the Jedi always underestimated and always
Yep.
wound up paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
And you
They
got to
were
think
playing-
about it too. Like even though there's only one more episode, like he is now in the live action. Like he could show up
Oh,
now.
yep,
Like we
yep,
can
he'll be
definitely
there.
probably see him in future Mandalorian, future Ahsoka, possibly. Like he'll just pop
Please.
up out of nowhere.
I mean, in this series, look at the characters that we've got. We've got Black K, Cad Bane, and the other ones.
The
who
Power
showed up.
Rangers.
No, we're not. No, we're not including the mod
Hey,
squad,
they're
okay?
part of they showed up here.
No, but
Power
I'm
Rangers.
saying- no, I'm saying that these are characters that
Yes.
the people have a vested interest in.
Yeah.
The Planeteers don't count. Okay, we had Luke, Grogu, Mando. These are big time characters now that are in the
Machete.
canon of the whole Star Wars series. So they
Yeah,
can show up at any time.
And I'm all for that. Like
Oh hell yeah!
it's a great time to be a nerd.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So what
So-
happens after this?
So he walks off after telling the town basically, as long as the Pikes can run their spice without
right.
anyone interrupting them,
Okay,
everyone
fine.
will be fine. Yeah. So he walks off, and then we go to
The cantina over at
the
Mos-
sanctuary in
at
Mos
Mos Espa.
Espa. So we see two Pikes go inside, and they're holding a Camtono
Ice cream maker.
the ice cream maker,
Right.
right? And they walk in, they go sit at a booth. Jennifer Beals' character, what's her name? Garza something. Garza Fwip.
Okay.
So Garza Fwip. So she notices them going in. They sit down, they order a drink from the droid. She is still, kind of watching them and everybody else. She notices them getting up. The droid is coming back with the drinks, but they pass the droid.
Right.
And at this point, if you don't know a mafia movie trope,
Exactly.
Well, they
you know,
also remember the two people come up to him and go, "Can we polish your helmets?"
yes,
Right,
I
and
mean,
they
which
said
which
no.
we know means we're going to give you some money, give us your helmets, basically.
or no,
Right.
or that they're gonna stay a while, right? That's kind of like a hint of that. You hand off your coat, you're gonna stay a while.
Well, last
Right.
time
last
they're
time
paying-
JR's right.
they
Well, but
paid
yeah,
off
they might
them
be.
with and they're
Right.
saying the Pikes
Finish
they're
Shan
paying
and
off
Boba
now.
Yeah.
That's right, because they took
So-
over, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is they came up to him and said, "Hey, can we take your helmets?" Kind of expecting them to go, "Here
I'll
you
pay
go.
Right.
We're going to go fill it up and give them a thing." When they didn't take their helmets off, that's when you kind of were
That
like,
was a clear sign. Yeah.
"Oh, shit's going to go down."
They're evil.
Yeah. So as they're leaving, the droid says, "Oh, hey, you forgot your Camtono," and Jessica Biel's face, she knew it right away, and kablooey! bye everybody inside, because there is no way anyone survived that blast when the blast went right through the doors.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
like like they just didn't show it like all of like the inside, because like he was in the middle of the bar like that, like
Yeah.
they were like in the middle of the bar, so that would have exploded. So like everybody's dead in there. Like bye Jessica Biel, like everybody's dead. So they took the first shot. The Pikes have taken the first shot. So
First salvo.
we're definitely going to be right
Those
into
were our
it
first
on
two
the next
shots.
episode.
You know,
The mayor is probably in there too.
I wish.
No, he's not. He's
off
vacation.
planet.
Yeah.
no, they
off
probably
planet, sir.
stuffed his head somewhere in there, you know, and
Well, here's the only good thing about that whole scene. I did not see Max Rebo in that whole sanctuary.
Oh, that's
So-
twice then.
That's twice he
Yeah.
survived a disaster, right?
He's a smart little fucker.
yes, he is.
Hey, elephants don't forget, man.
What about DJ Rex,
He
the
fucked.
robot?
I think he
Okay,
fucked. I think he was in
Yeah.
the middle of the table.
he might have been.
So I mean, yeah, but everybody else is dead. I mean,
Right.
you can at least assume so. And then we cut.
We don't get an
Oh.
image of that by any chance.
Oh, do
No.
we?
I don't know what the images are on this. So
Actually,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh,
Oh,
no,
that's
that
the
was the
flashback.
callback. Yeah, so this is really cool. I mean, you see the clone troopers, you see the 3 Jedis fighting.
Right.
and I'm
obviously-
wondering if that's Kyamundi on the center shot. Yeah, that one, because he's
I-
got the right size head for it.
He
I
has that
thought-
look, but he got killed by
Yeah,
like
I thought
Oh, that's
Anakin.
right.
in the
Yeah.
second, right?
That's
oh, no,
right. No, he
in the room.
got yeah.
There is none.
Sorry.
All right, so I guess it's it. That's the next scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess I should share it.
So, and I had a question about
No.
the gift.
What?
No.
What question?
All right. So obviously we know what the gift is with, you know, the little spoiler we just had with the pictures. All right. So it's a chainmail suit made out of Beskar. Okay. Last episode, we didn't see that.
Yeah, but we
We-
knew it.
No.
We saw these links. No, but we never said that it was going to be a chainmail suit.
I said it was. a
It
female
was
suit.
it was pretty much implied because those links
Yeah,
Right.
they look
but
like they
they're all
could be
separate.
and it sounded like a chain link.
right, but
the link was
chainmail
pretty
is a
big,
bunch
though.
of links.
Was that?
The links were really big.
No, but that's perspective. It was all by itself. There was nothing else to
Yeah,
measure.
there was people like theorizing like, is it a suit or what did he make
Right.
him out of Beskar? Like there, it wasn't sure like because it wasn't shown until this episode, so people were
Yeah.
theorizing like what it could be.
Well, because last week we were saying that anything in the hands of a Jedi is a weapon.
So everybody go back to the rewind and find the point where I said it was a chainmail.
I remember you saying it was chainmail.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's definitely there was no mistaking what it was, because that's the only thing that could have folded into that little bundle in that size.
And it made sense because you got to think that
It was
the
defense.
armor was all about it being defense.
Okay.
Beskar should only be a defense.
So I mean, we go back to the planet where Luke and Grogu are. They finished the stone hut, right? So they're in there meditating, and he shows him the gift from the Mando. Says, "Hey, here's a gift from the Mando that he brought you," and he lays it down on the ground to the side. Then he pulls out. He says, "Wait, before you take that."
Yeah,
I'm
the
going to
last
give you a
bit of
choice.
Yeah.
And he
Sophie's
goes
choice.
goes into a box, pulls out a
No.
small lightsaber handle,
Yoda's.
lights, and you
He
jump.
was trying to set it up, jackass.
He jumped the shark
Sorry.
there, but he lights it and he tells him, "This used to belong to my teacher, Master Yoda." So now we know that he has Master Yoda's lightsaber, and people were asking earlier,
Yeah.
how the hell does he have his lightsaber? We thought it was gone. We thought it's melted down, whatever, right? Well, from what I understand is he went back before he went to Dagobah to get his lost lightsaber, and he had it with him on Dagobah. And when he passed away, Luke gathered all his stuff, and that was one of the items. So that's what is supposed to be, I guess,
Right.
the canon of it. But we don't know. It could be told in another story. I hope not. But I mean, I don't need to know, right?
Yeah, because he didn't exactly lose it when he fought the Emperor.
No, he did. It fell down the
Right.
hole, remember?
So he went back to get it.
Or it
And
fell
then
down.
Someone
Right.
got it.
And someone must have picked it back up at some point.
Right. Or him.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't know. And honestly, I get it. People are upset they don't know how
Could
he
have been
got
Mace
it.
Windu.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just leap of faith. Who cares? It's enjoyable. Give me my fan service.
I just thought it was great that the fact that he got Yoda's. I don't care where it came from. There's a lot of story that could have been to be told between then and now.
Yeah.
You're talking about 25 years of travel for that lightsaber, but somehow or other he got it.
I do find it interesting that you're basically going Mando or Jedi.
But you have
But let me finish before you go.
Mm-hmm.
The Mandos are known for being an offensive type, and you get a defensive thing from them. The Jedis are known for being peaceful and being defensive, and you get an offensive weapon.
True.
To me, don't miss on that juxtapose as you've got these two choices of you could go with the Jedi or the Mando, and how each item is kind of opposite of what you would typically perceive for those people.
I mean, true. Unless for the Mandalorians, a foundling, because they're weak, they're given armor to protect themselves. And while for the Jedi they wear regular clothes, and the only thing that they essentially carry with them is a lightsaber. But what I find interesting is that Jedi are supposed to make their own.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving him Yoda's lightsaber? He's not ready for that.
Why did Obi-Wan give Luke his father's lightsaber?
That's why.
But also the other thing I was kind of pointing out was this kind of the sword and stone, not sword and stone, but kind of Merlin's thing of, at least with Captain Britain. I know it's been done in other things, but do you pick defense or do you pick offense?
True.
Like it determines what path you go, light or dark. You know what I mean?
Well, he tells him you have a choice. If you choose the chainmail, that means you choose the Mando, and you can go back. You'll go back to the Mando, but you've forsaken the Jedi ways, and because of your attachment. And then he says, but if you choose a lightsaber, I will teach you to be a great Jedi, and you'll be my first student. And I mean, at this point, this helps explain a couple of things if you think about the next choice that he's going to make, right? Because this is where it cuts off. We are done with the episode. No. We're left with him being asked the question, what do you choose? Right? So at this point, it would explain that why maybe he wasn't there when Kylo went over, after, and destroyed the temple and killed all the younglings and all the students, right? That could explain why he wasn't there.
No,
I said it could.
That's like years later.
Okay. We'll suspend your disbelief. And I don't have anything to throw up.
And here's why: because Luke explained already, it takes him like a person's regular lifetime for him to train. So, for a person's regular lifetime, we're saying we're going by a human's lifetime.
Okay,
right.
We'll say anywhere from 80 to 100 years. Okay,
it's a short life. It's short for him.
It's short for him, but he'll be training that whole time because just like Master Yoda, he trained for a long time. I mean, the guy was 800 years old.
9.
Right.
900. Sorry, you're right.
So
But so I mean, my point is
Right.
that he has like it's an explanation to why he wouldn't be there, because 25 years later is nothing for this kid.
True.
Right? It's
Sure,
a blip.
sure.
It's kind of a blip. So he would probably still be there training or help train others at that point. Right? And so to me, that's how I would have looked at it, and thinking, okay, well, this could be an explanation why he wasn't there. Right?
So-
or why we never see him at all.
So a couple things before I go to my Dark Jedi stuff.
Mhm.
First, someone pointed out earlier that supposedly Leia is supposed to be Luke's first
Right, Travis.
student.
Mhm.
So if that's the case, then if he did use the phrase "you'd be my first student,"
Mhm.
But
then
So
we already
Travis said-
okay,
Right.
don't. But we already know, we can already kind of incline that, okay, he obviously goes the Mando route,
Mhm.
because there would be no way of going, hey, I'm going to take the lightsaber and not be your first student.
Mhm.
So if that's the case, then he's taking the lightsaber, or taking the Mando stuff and going back to the Mando. If that holds true, if Leia, I don't recall them ever officially saying Leia was his first student.
They said
Episode 9.
Leia said that
No,
in
not 9, 8.
oh,
right?
what was that?
Oh, 9.
one? Yeah, 9.
9.
Yeah, she said that. Plus, you got to remember that if you look at the Mando ship, he has that little spot for.
Oh yeah, no. They're obviously
They're setting
putting
it
that there. They're setting it up so
Right.
you're going to assume that
Right.
Yeah, he's
And-
coming back.
quite possibly. But the
Now-
other thing is,
Yeah, go ahead.
and I'm just going to throw this out there on before I go to the Sith side. The other thing is, we've got that whole thing. There's that rumor that 7, 8, 9 got wiped out of canon by the events of Ahsoka doing time travel and being saved and pulled out of the timeline. If that's the case, if that is true time travel and we're in a different time frame,
Oh my goodness.
then he could be. Hey, you're dealing with a Star Wars nerd, so fuck off. He could theoretically
Just
now
for you,
be.
Anthony.
He could theoretically now be the first one, and Leia would then be the second one, erasing the Rian Johnson bullshit of
Right.
7 and the cleanup of 8.
But I doubt that they'll do that, because I think they respect Star Wars enough where, even if it's not the best of Star Wars, and let's admit it, George Lucas's prequels were not the best of Star
Oh
Wars.
no,
either.
they weren't.
Okay,
No.
so George Lucas has a hand in writing some bad Star Wars shit. So anything that was done in those last 3 ones, they're gonna respect it still, just as much as they respect the prequels, right?
The difference
to-
was the prequels
to-
made sense to the characters.
Right, but they're not gonna go and F up the canon when everyone's already said that everything that happened from the 7th movie on is canon, right? So you got to, well, obviously including the first 6 movies, but you have to imagine that they're not going to go and screw all of that up. And it just happened. It's not like it's not like it happened like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. This happened like less than 5 years ago.
But then that leads to the whole point of, why would you, in the last season of Rebels, add time travel to a universe that never had time travel
Oh,
in the
and I know
35
why.
years prior to that?
There's only one reason, and one reason why.
To bring Ahsoka?
Dave Filoni want to save his character, because there's no other way he could have done it. There's absolutely no way you can
No,
explain
and I
how
agree with
she
you.
gets past Vader.
You don't
and
think
Vader,
there's gonna
you
be-
see Vader in all those Star Wars movies.
But you don't think there's going to be ripples coming from that?
There could be, but she was a gray Jedi. We don't know how history worked.
And it is openly known that Filoni and Favreau don't care for the 7, 8, 9.
They might not care for it, but they're still going to show the respect of not like screwing it
I don't
over.
know. Well,
'Cause,
we'll
I mean-
see. I think they're trying to correct some of the stuff, and Dark Grogu is going to be one of the things that'll help correct it.
Okay, so say your Dark Grogu thing. Let's go there.
So by them doing this Sophie's Choice, by him having to choose one or the other,
Oh, kaboom.
by him having to choose one or the other,
I
he
choose
will.
her.
He may choose. He may choose Luke. Go with Luke, begrudgingly, but knowing that at some point he can go back and get that armor from Luke, because Luke's not going to destroy that armor. He can't destroy it, but he could hold that hatred in his heart for Luke because of that, and that could taint him. And it's little things like that.
Wait, what would piss him off again?
The fact that Luke is making him choose between Mando and
Jedi.
being a Jedi. Luke should not have that choice. You should not be able to put that choice to him.
What? But that's life.
But you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Life gives you choices all the
There-
time.
There is no reason, especially someone pointed out earlier, that Luke and Anakin were rule breakers. They did so much stuff against what their masters told them to do.
Yeah.
So the fact that Luke's going hardcore, this like, you can't have attachment, yet he's still close with his sister.
Well,
You can't. I mean,
Actually, speaking on that, like I feel like he is still gonna leave too, because like you think about it, didn't Luke leave and he didn't finish his training,
yes.
and then Ahsoka did
took
the same
my
thing.
argument. So a whole time I've been trying to say there is a parallel to Luke's training. There's a parallel to Luke's life as becoming a Jedi, as a Padawan. Okay, it's
And
a complete mirror where you're watching Grogu going through the same thing Luke basically did with Yoda.
okay.
And guess what happened in Empire? He had to make a choice. And Yoda told him, you leave, your training will be incomplete and you won't become a Jedi. And he said, and he's telling him, you have this attachment to all these people that you're going to go try save. That's not the Jedi way. But guess what he did? He trusted his instincts. He went and saved his friends and his family, and he's still a master Jedi. So
Okay.
there's nothing to say that he can't. This is why I feel like Filoni and Favreau understand Star Wars so much, is that they mirrored it perfectly against Luke, and it showed you like frame for frame almost.
Can I give you another mirror?
Go ahead.
Well, hold on. Let me.
Okay,
let me
go
finish
finish your
this.
thing.
Let me finish. So they showed you that perfect mirror, and they gave you the same choice where he's at the freaking X-wing, right? And he's all dressed up in his pilot gear, getting ready to go, and Yoda's telling him it's the same thing. He's going to have his choice, and he's going to choose to go save his friend, and that's what's going to happen.
Okay. So I'll tell you another mirror.
Okay.
Anakin and Luke. If you go back and look, episode 1 and episode 4 are the same fucking movie. You're getting the same choices through that of basically Luke loses Obi-Wan, his first master.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Anakin that loses his master, or not Anakin, Obi-Wan loses his master there. So that's the only little difference there. But you've got in episode 2 or episode 1 where they leave their families.
Right.
They come back, their families are dead. You see where Anakin goes, well, fuck you, I'm going to kill all these sand people. Luke doesn't go that route. And you see where they split between going light side and dark side. So they're probably doing parallel of that in reverse on this. Where they're doing it with Luke and Grogu, like you're saying, and they're showing that, yeah, he can do the exact same things, and here's where he's going to go dark instead of going light.
I don't think so. I think like they are setting it up that he goes back to Mandalorian, going to be back on the Mandalorian show, and because like everybody was like, oh, he can't have them. He's such a big aspect of that show that they like had to incorporate him back in. But like at the end of Mandalorian, people are like, well, how are they going to incorporate him back in? I think this is the way they're going to do it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the big disappointment that Luke talks about when he decides to almost kill his nephew. I think that his disappointment of letting this guy down in some way, which form, if it's not Dark Grogu, it's going to be this choice of letting him go back, whatever. But that's what's going to stop him.
But part of me kind of thinks that Luke, the reason why Luke would be disappointed is because Grogu reminds him so much of Yoda.
Possibly.
Not the fact that Grogu would leave, but the fact that he couldn't do for Grogu what Yoda did for him. But at the same time, remember, Yoda let Luke leave. So,
I don't know. I just look at it at some point. He says, I see darkness in you when he's talking to Kylo. I see darkness in you. And he says something about he had someone else that was close to him or something that also had darkness in him and they turned evil. So I don't know. Maybe it's Ahsoka, but I think that's a real fucking Hail Mary.
yeah, that is.
It's not going to be Leia because we know where Leia is.
Right.
We don't know. Grogu's gone by the time episode 7 comes around. If this is our normal reality.
I mean, we don't know.
And no one even mentions Grogu.
Right.
What She Geek said, like, I agree with that because, like, when Luke said, like, I don't think he has the heart for it. And, like, I think he has more of the heart for, like, being with Mandalorian, being with him and that. He has more heart for that rather than the heart to be a Jedi.
Do you think he'll stop using Force magic or Force powers then?
No, I think like that'll play a big part in the next episode when he's back with the Mandalorian and helping against the Pikes.
So if he doesn't become a Jedi, then what does he become if he's still using Force powers?
Gray Jedi.
Ahsoka's still using
gray.
using lightsabers.
Ahsoka's a gray.
Okay. And then it doesn't mean like he won't stop doing the training and come back just like Luke did.
But do you think Luke would let him? Because think about that. Luke is trying to make a stance here,
right?
Because he needs him to detach. If he's being as hard-edged about that, then I don't think he's going to go, okay, come back. You did what you needed to do.
But we had our example on the show the whole time.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Ahsoka has attachments.
Yes.
Ezra. She needs to find Ezra.
No, I agree. I believe his whole thing of it, Jedis can't have attachments is bullshit.
Of course.
No, and we all agree with that. We all understand that Luke broke the fucking rules. Anakin broke the fucking rules. Obi-Wan broke the fucking rules. Okay, so we all understand.
The one thing that the one thing that the new sequels like the 7, 8, 9 kind of brought to the fold that nobody really thinks about is that it's good to have those attachments because look how it helped Kylo Ren and that at the end there they had that attachment and all of a sudden next thing you know he's pulling a lightsaber from the back of him. Maybe their ways of the Jedi was not the right way that they're going about things.
And that's exactly
I agree, but at the same time, why then would Luke go, okay, I'm going to get separated from everyone, be isolated on an island, and have no attachments?
Because
maybe
Luke doesn't know.
He didn't realize that because he was following the old ways.
Luke is going against everything you guys are saying. Is what I'm trying to point out.
I know he has doubts.
I mean,
you got to remember, right? Luke may be a master, but he was never a full master because his training was never completed.
No. They explained that he did get his full training, but it was by Force Ghosts. His father came back, Obi-Wan came back, and Yoda came back as Force Ghost to finish his teachings.
Either way,
that was explained already.
Right.
Something changed Luke because if you let's put Mandalorian, everything in the 30-year gap, just put aside for a sec. if you go Empire or Return of the Jedi, that Luke compared to the Luke that shows up at the end of Episode 7, they're completely different, out of character people.
Yes.
Because Luke is now disenfranchised. He's like, fuck you, I'm detached, bitter. I mean, he's like the good version of me.
He almost wants nothing to do with the universe.
Yeah, he wants nothing. So something at some point changed him.
Yes. That's
exactly
what happened.
So something major happened to him that changed him. And if it's somebody that he taught do it, then it's going to take a big character to do it. It's not going to be, hey, we're going to introduce this new character, this Wookiee named Bobby, and all of a sudden Bobby, we're going to go have him go evil, and that's going to break Luke's heart, and Luke is going to go completely off his rocker.
Bobby the Wookiee's going to become a thing now.
but see what I'm saying is you need to build a character. It has to be someone a big impact. It would have to be an Ahsoka type character, somebody that people love, has to go dark for Luke to go that way.
But
because he's completely out of character by 7 and 8.
If they decide to go dark with him, I don't think it'd be anytime soon.
Wait.
No, it's not
I'm
next
confused.
week.
You think Luke became the way he did by 7, 8, and 9 because of someone going dark, like Ahsoka?
The reason because he says it in 8, like the reason he goes after Kylo, and he has that doubt. He's like, I feel darkness in you, and basically says like, hey, this has happened once to me, fool me once, shame on me type of thing. That's why he decides to go after Kylo for a sec there.
No, he compared that darkness to his father.
No.
Pretty sure he did.
No.
Hold on a second. I've got to check this out.
No. Quick. He says, I saw darkness in you. Oh, come on, Sam. You know a dark...
I could swear it was because he saw darkness in his own father, because that's how he met his father.
No, because the whole thing about his father, the whole point of the original trilogy was that he was looking for the light in his father, and he redeemed his father. That's why I had such an issue with 7, 8, 9, is he's going, I can't find any redemption in you because you're a piece of shit because of something that happened in my past. He found the good in his father. So that would make no sense to go, I see darkness in you, but yet I saw darkness with my dad and I fixed him and got him to be a good come on the light side after when he died. Think about that.
No, I understand what you're saying. I can think the same way where I'm going, well, he's seen darkness. He's seen it in his father.
But why wouldn't he redeem his uncle or nephew?
But he doesn't see any redemption in his nephew for some reason. He saw it within his father, and that's how he's able to save his father. So that's why I think it's that way. But I digress because I can't really remember the details of that scene. Of that,
I don't think there's any redemption in Kylo.
Yeah, I mean,
well, either way,
you don't think there's any redemption for Kylo?
I know they put the redemption at the end of it, but that was bad writing.
Yeah, but it's canon,
and it's for now, yeah. But also, what I mean by redemption, not necessarily the fact that he went good. I meant just a shitty character. He's a Solo.
Well, he's a Skywalker. In all intents and purposes, he's a Sky. Yes, his last name may be Solo, but he's a Skywalker.
Either way, we're at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
My headset just said, you need to get the fuck off here.
All right, people. Well, before we go, Travis, do you have anything to talk about, promote, anything coming up?
Well, it was Whiplash Wednesday with the PCP Army Fab Batch. We all had stuff like Manny's, Different Perspectives had a video. Then Nick Comic Culture had 2 videos. Then I had a video of Chatting with the Comic Community, episode 40 just dropped today. Mm-hmm. Then there was Brandon Comics Kings. He had a video with Verno, the Cerebos today. And then Big Herm Collectibles and Fable had a show talking about Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
And then
Oh, I love
Right.
Battlestar. Frack me.
Friday, I'll have my video of my top 5 indie comics coming out February 9th, 2022. It'll be dropping Friday.
Nice.
And I think I'm going to be over on Chillmonger's channel on Saturday. And then, yeah, that's
Cool.
pretty much it.
Very cool. Everybody go sub up TM Nerdy. Go check out all the rewinds on all those shows. Go catch him on Chillmonger's show on this weekend. So thank you, Travis, for coming here, for giving us your views and for dealing with our arguments.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. You guys have anything to add? You guys have anything to promote?
Nope. Just see Mondo Mail call tomorrow. It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, we're gonna have Mondo Mail call tomorrow. It's gonna be with Comic with Bonix. We're gonna see if he survives the verses, and you guys get to see some pretty dope books. I'm betting. This
None
guy's
for
a
me.
serious
I'm just
collector.
I'm just gonna
So,
be posting my regular stuff on IG for now. So
oh yeah, and I forgot I'll be showing off some stuff, huh?
yeah.
So, I had a good mail day this week. So,
He always has a good mail day.
yeah,
Yes, he does.
Yeah, well,
Emily.
this one's gonna piss people off. I'm gonna get people adding at me all day, dude. I'm telling you.
Do you have that Elf cover with the sea lion?
I'm not giving anything away right now.
I did get this.
This guy's just like giving us a sneak peek.
Well, no, 'cause I'm not. I don't normally join up for Mondo Mail call. So
Okay. Well, here's your chance then.
yeah. So yeah. This is the 5-pack. This is pack.
Oh, the
one
David
of
Mack
David
one?
Mack covers. Yeah.
Of 6, no.
Above your bed.
I wish. She is hot. And don't forget, Book of 10.
Yep.
She is Starbuck.
So-
But before we go, I just wanted to show you guys one more thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he hates him so much. No, in all good fun. JR, I hope it's okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad.
Get
all
ready for the backlash.
All those little things, all those little pictures that you saw of JR, that is just the beginning, everyone. We are going to have major changes coming up.
Yes.
We are going to and that's just the beginning. So in the next month, at I think March 1st, we are going to have a huge announcement. But before then, tomorrow night, tune in and we'll let you know exactly what's going on with us and the Team Nerd Herd. Again, thank you, Travis, for coming by and
it was cool.
jumping on the
With my
channel.
bullshit.
Thank you, Grogu, for jumping by. I really appreciate it. Please don't go dark on us because JR would win, and
We got cookies.
He's
Come
too
on.
cute
got to
to
deal
go
with it.
dark.
Just make sure he becomes a Jedi. Just teach him the Jedi ways, please.
I just love how you gave me even my chin has a beard on it.
Yes. Hey, my friend is so good at this stuff. Thank you for sharing these with me and having us put these on here because this wouldn't have been as fun. But anyways, to everyone, if you want to do it right,
Watch
well,
what
in
you
this
like.
case, watch what you like.
Watch what you like.
Yeah.